The moment my bio parents cut off my cards, my elite fiancé leveraged our wedding to threaten me, demanding I grovel to that scheming young master Jia, cornered and with nowhere left to turn. I finally swiped that long-forgotten black card. The next day, a legendary underworld tycoon arrived in Hong Kong, sending shockwaves through high society. At the grand banquet, my parents and fiancé were desperately clawing their way forward, dying to suck up to the mysterious powerhouse. But in that exact moment, they watched in sheer horror as I wrapped my arm around her waist, raised a defiant finger toward them, and declared loudly, "They're the ones who bullied me." The woman beside me looked at me with pure adoration, and without a hint of hesitation, she whispered, "It's all right. I'll handle every last one of them." Truth be told, I had long since fallen for her. The woman who raised me and shaped who I am. She's a titan who commands both the light and the dark, known for her ruthless and cold-blooded methods. Yet she reserves every ounce of her tenderness for me. To the world, we are merely siblings. But my heart harbors a far deeper forbidden desire. Later, when enemies used my life to blackmail her, I chose to vanish, severing ties with everyone, to return to the biological parents I barely knew. 3 long years have passed since then. But upon my return, I realized that neither guilt nor compensation awaited me. Only the sting of my fiancé's blatant betrayal. Even my own parents favored the maid's son over me, trying to break my spirit and force a confession. They cut off my every source of income, poisoning every bridge I tried to cross. In a state of pure frantic desperation, I accidentally swiped that black card I carried away 3 years ago. The second I stepped back into my office, an international call from overseas began vibrating against my desk. The moment I saw the caller ID, my pupils constricted in a flash of pure shock. Trembling, I picked up the line. "Hello?" A familiar voice crackled from the other end. "Young master." Instantly, my expression turned to stone, and my eyes betrayed a surge of uncontrollable raw emotion. "The Miss is landing in Hong Kong tonight at 8 p.m. She expects you to be waiting for her at the airport." Hearing those words, my breath hitched. She's actually coming to Hong Kong, so she finally tracked me down. Thinking back to yesterday's blunder with the wrong card, and those items I purchased, I never imagined she'd mobilize so quickly after discovering it. The one on the line is her personal assistant, Xiao Wei. Don't let that polite tone on the phone fool you. Back in Country F, he is a figure that makes people tremble with fear. If even his assistant is this formidable, imagine the peak of power that is the woman behind him. Bai Ningbing, the one who picked me up and raised me into the man I am. Xiao Wei continued, "The miss also said, you'd better have a damn good explanation ready. Or else what?" Xiao Wei left the sentence hanging. Yet I couldn't stop a cold shiver from racing down my spine. I was a complete mess the entire afternoon. I couldn't even focus during my meetings. Bai Ningbing, the mysterious benefactor the Fang family is so dying to identify. The powerhouse who dominates both the underworld and high society. Recalling the events that transpired 3 years ago, before I fled Country F, tears instantly began to well up in my eyes. By 7:30 p.m., clutching a massive bouquet of tulips, I waited anxiously at the airport arrival gate. The clock struck 8, and a familiar silhouette finally came into view. As her tall, elegant figure emerged, memories of her cradling me and soothing my soul flashed through my mind like scenes from an old movie. She wore a mid-length black trench coat, paired with a chic black skirt and stockings. Her icy aura made her seem utterly untouchable. However, I'm the only one who truly knows the hidden depths beneath that breathtaking beauty, the cold ruthlessness and the madness she conceals. The moment our eyes locked, I was paralyzed by the sheer dominance in her gaze. With just one look, I instinctively lowered my head. Trembling, I offered the tulips to her. "Your favorites." I was terrified she'd reject them. The crushing pressure radiating from her intensified. My arms felt weak, barely able to hold the bouquet, as I timidly reached out to tug on her sleeve. "Sister," I whispered, my voice soft and submissive. That single word caused the woman's oppressive aura to soften instantly. She reached out with her slender hand and gripped my wrist, and before I could even process what was happening, she yanked me straight into her embrace. "You've gotten bolder, haven't you?" Her icy voice carried a dangerous, predatory edge. "It's been nearly 3 years. Yet you didn't contact me a single time. To think you've become this rebellious. It seems I've truly spoiled you rotten." Before I could utter a word of defense, Bai Ningbing released her grip on me, only to seize my hand and lead me straight out of the airport. Xiao Wei was already stationed outside, waiting by the curb, bowing respectfully as he held the car door open. The moment I laid eyes on that vehicle, I was rooted to the spot in utter disbelief. She actually had her car flown in via air freight. This was Bai Ningbing's exclusive custom ride from Country FLO. If the car is already here, does that mean she has no intention of leaving Hong Kong anytime soon? The thought sent my already tangled heart into a violent, agonizing spasm. The woman slightly tilted her gaze upward, staring directly at me despite me being half a head taller. That look alone made my heart race with sheer panic, forcing me to swallow hard against the lump in my throat. Suddenly, the woman behind me lunged with explosive force, shoving me firmly into the backseat of the car. The instant the engine roared to life, her pale palm clamped down securely on my arm. Before I could even attempt to react, the woman bypassed all boundaries and sat directly on my lap. This sudden, intimate maneuver caused my face to flush a deep burning crimson. I stammered out in a rush, "Sister, don't do this. I'm a grown man now. This position is it's too embarrassing." The woman extended her ice-cold fingertips, tracing them gently across my chilled cheek, before coming to a rest beneath my chin. Guilt-stricken, I lacked the courage to meet her gaze, keeping my head bowed in submission. She spoke with a chilling frost. "Grown up. Think your wings are strong enough to fly? Now, do you... I trust you've had a blast these past 3 years." The word happy felt like a jagged needle, stabbing repeatedly into the center of my chest. I've been through way too much drama these past few days. My heart felt like it was overflowing with bitterness, and hot tears began to well up uncontrollably in my eyes. I sniffled, muttering in a barely audible whisper, "It hasn't even been 3 years yet. She's this..." In that moment, I looked exactly like a battered child who had been bullied on the playground, completely and utterly heartbroken. The woman let out a dismissive, mocking scoff. "Only 2 months left until the 3-year mark. Tell me what's the damn difference?" I had intended to drop Bai Ningbing off at a 5-star hotel, but she remained stubbornly perched on my lap, giving me zero chance to tell Xiaowei our destination. By the time Bai Ningbing finally released her hold on me, the car had already glided to a smooth stop, within the underground garage of Jinjiang City. I was floored. How did you know I lived here?" Bai Ningbing didn't even bother to respond. She simply shoved the door open and stepped out. Xiaowei, still behind the wheel, gave a helpless sigh. "Young master, if the miss wants to find something out, it's child's play. It's just that you hid yourself so deeply these past 3 years. We never expected you'd actually come back here, let alone seek out your biological relatives. Regardless, the miss is genuinely furious this time." The words "genuinely furious" hit me like a physical blow. My heart clenched with sudden, sharp anxiety. By sheer instinct, I stole a cautious, fearful glance at Bai Ningbing outside. The moment we stepped inside the apartment, I scrambled to find her a pair of indoor slippers. But the second I flung the shoe cabinet open, my stomach did a violent somersault. Sitting right there next to my own footwear was a pair of women's slippers that had clearly been worn. A sudden chill surged from the depths of my soul. I frantically rummaged through the cabinet for a brand new pair of my own, and timidly offered them to Bai Ningbing. "Maybe you should just wear mine for now." The oversized clunky slippers, adorned with a ridiculous cute cartoon character, sat mockingly before Bai Ningbing. Her eyes narrowed into dangerous slits, the icy aura radiating from her body becoming stifling. "So you've learned how to take care of others now, Tot?" My expression froze instantly, the suffocating bitterness in my chest becoming impossible to suppress. I forced myself to stand up straight, looking at Bai Ningbing with the eyes of a wounded puppy. "So you know everything already." Bai Ningbing's lips curled into a cold smirk. She silently slipped into my oversized slippers. For a woman who was habitually fastidious about her lifestyle, she surprisingly didn't utter another word of complaint. She strode into the living room, scanning every corner of the space. The more she surveyed the room, the darker her expression became. The Fang family is supposed to be prestigious in Hong Kong, yet they stuck you in a cramped hole like this. Mentioning the Fangs was a mistake. The moment I heard their name, my face fell and I couldn't hide my bitterness. I pouted defiantly. This place wasn't even given to me. "Bain't by the Fangs." Bai Ningbing's gaze flickered with a sharp intensity. She turned her head slowly to look at me. "I bought it with your money," I mumbled, my voice low. For some inexplicable reason, upon hearing those words, the icy frost on Bai Ningbing's face actually began to thaw. She glided toward the nearby sofa, shrugging off her designer trench coat and draping it carelessly over the armrest. She unwound the scarf from her neck with effortless grace. Before speaking, "Even so, you should have bought something bigger." I scrambled to justify myself. "It's not small at all. It's over 500 square feet. It's more than enough for me to live in alone." But Bai Ningbing still viewed it as a literal shoebox. After all, back in country F, so even my private guest villa was no less than a massive 10,000 square feet. To say nothing of the years I spent at the Bai estate. That sprawling castle and manor grounds were so vast a 2-hour walk wouldn't even cover half of it. Bai Ningbing's piercing eyes locked onto mine. "Get over here," she commanded coldly. I timidly shuffled forward, stopping exactly 1 meter away from her, too terrified to take another step. However, with one swift reach of her arm, just like back in the car, I stumbled and fell directly into Bai Ningbing's lap. She immediately maneuvered herself to sit atop me. I couldn't help but let out a small frustrated groan. Her deep, sultry voice vibrated right above my head. "You have exactly 5 minutes. Upon hearing that ultimatum, my heart began to hammer against my ribs like a caged bird. I knew exactly what Bai Ningbing meant by those words. 3 years ago, I vanished without a single word of explanation. And it was during the absolute peak of the Bai family's internal turmoil. Though I had vanished, the elite circles of Country F were all whispering the same thing. He wasn't her bloodkin, just a stray dog she raised. It was obvious they were mocking me. The rumors claimed I abandoned the Bai family at the exact moment Bai Ningbing was most vulnerable. I didn't offer a defense, but instead countered with the question, what happened to the Liu family? The second those words left my lips, an icy frost surged within the woman's eyes. The hand gripping my chin tightened with a sudden suffocating pressure. I swallowed hard, my nerves frayed to the breaking point, and whispered softly, sister. Bai Ningbing fired back with a chilling gaze. Are you worried about the Lius? Or are you just worried about Liu Ruyan's health? The mere mention of Liu Ruyan's name felt like a sledgehammer slamming into my chest. My entire body went rigid instantly. Bai Ningbing was sharp enough to sense my immediate reaction, a lethal glint flashing through her eyes. I stammered out frantically, no, it's not that. Her tone became eerily flat. The Liu family was wiped off, the historical stage of Country F over a year ago. Does that answer satisfy you? Hearing that news, the tension finally drained from my body, leaving me limp. I pressed on, and the people from the Liu family, Bai Ningbing's aura became increasingly perilous. You really want to know their fate? I shook my head violently at no, yes. As long as they can't threaten you anymore, that's all that matters. Bai Ningbing arched a skeptical eyebrow, but I suddenly lunged forward, wrapping my arms around her waist. I broke down, my face drenched in a mess of tears and snot. I looked so pathetically broken, as if I were releasing years of pent-up agony. Bai Ningbing's hands were frozen in midair at first, but as my hysterical sobbing filled the room, she eventually rested them gently against the back of my neck, clinging to her slender waist as if my life depended on it. I choked out through my sobs, can I still call you Mom? Bai Ningbing held me tight. So you still remember I'm your mother. I thought once you crawled back to the Fangs, you had scrubbed every memory of Country F from your mind. I gripped her even tighter, my wailing becoming even more gut-wrenching and desperate. 2 grueling hours ticked by. I continued to sob intermittently, slowly unraveling the true reason for my departure from Country F 3 years ago with agonizing detail. During these 3 years in Hong Kong, despite the Fang family's brutal treatment, I had stubbornly refused to shed a single tear. Yet the moment I spoke of the events in Country F, my tears flowed like a dam breaking. The Bai family had always been my unbreakable shield, and Bai Ningbing was the very anchor of my soul. To lose it all in a single night, the feeling of plunging into a living hell, was a trauma I hadn't dared to touch for 3 years. Just as the rumors suggested, when I fled, the Bai family was drowning in a violent storm. I desperately wanted to stay by Bai Ningbing's side, but Liu Yan, the man obsessed with her, seized the moment her father suddenly passed away. During that critical moment of the Bai family's instability, he conspired with his sister Liu Ruyan to kidnap my mother. They gave me a lethal ultimatum, leave the Bai family or else. They made it crystal clear that if I didn't vanish, they would slaughter my mother without hesitation. Crushed by this life and death coercion, I had no choice but to succumb to their demands. From that day on, I severed every tie with Bai Ningbing. 3 years ago, the Liu family's power in Country F was absolute, ruling over the social hierarchy like undisputed kings. Father's death was far too sudden, leaving Bai Ningbing's foundation shaky and unrefined. She was simply no match for the Liu family's might. Furthermore, Bai Ningbing and Liu Ruyan were bitter rivals. It was only because of Liu Yan's infatuation with her that things remained barely civil, keeping Liu Ruyan from sabotaging the Bai family's empire. How could I ever risk putting her in such mortal danger, if my departure was the price? To buy the Bai family a momentary peace, I would gladly sacrifice myself to give her a chance to breathe. The more Bai Ningbing heard, the more ghastly her expression became, bordering on pure, unadulterated rage. They threatened you, she hissed, and you actually believed them that easily. My throat was thick with sorrow, as I choked out through my tears. I didn't dare doubt them. They held my mother's life over my head. Bai Ningbing's eyes narrowed into dangerous slits. So you truly stayed silent for 3 whole years? I stammered a frantic reply. I didn't dare. I won't do it again. As I spoke, a wave of even deeper misery washed over me. These past few years, I've been terrified to even glance at her news. During that brutal first year after fleeing the Bai family, simply staying alive was a daily struggle. That's the real reason I crawled back to the Fangs, and ended up in that cursed engagement with Liu Ruyan. Even after laying it all out so clearly, Bai Ningbing was still treating me with such cold severity. The crushing sense of injustice flared up in my chest once more. With my eyes rimmed in red, I stole a glance at Bai Ningbing and Liu Yan, that despicable bottom-feeding scoundrel. I want to tear him apart with my own 2 hands. Bai Ningbing gave a chillingly flat response. He's finished. Rotting in a cell. You were the one who put him away. I asked, my voice trembling with shock. Bai Ningbing shot me a sharp sidelong glare. That look was so familiar yet so icy. It was clear her fury hadn't subsided one bit. I timidly tugged at the corner of her sleeve, staring at her in silent, heartbreaking supplication. Bai Ningbing wasn't done yet. She snapped in frustration. You useless little brat! You let them trample all over you and you still have the nerve to feel sorry for yourself. I might as well have wasted my breath teaching you all those years. I replied, my heart heavy with grief. You taught me everything, except how to be heartless. If I were truly cold and soulless, perhaps no one could ever lay a finger on my spirit. Just like with the Fangs, so I never took their petty cruelty to heart, so nothing they did could ever truly break me. But the Bai family is different. Mother was always so incredibly kind to me. I've known since I was a child that I was just a stray you picked up. Yet she treated me like her own flesh and blood, cherishing me like the most precious treasure. I pressed on, desperate for news. Is she truly doing well? Bai Ningbing let out a cold snort. Better than you deserve. She spent 3 years as a vegetarian praying for your safety. She was terrified that a hothouse flower like you would wither and die the moment the frost hit. Struck down by the frost, I realized she was mocking my inability to survive in the real world. But knowing Mother gave up meat and prayed for me for 3 years sent a powerful surge of emotion through my heart. I looked up at Bai Ningbing with wide, yearning eyes. Has Mother truly not touched a piece of meat in 3 years? Bai Ningbing raised her hand and delivered a sharp smack to the back of my head. It stung so bad I clutched my skull, not even daring to whimper. Bai Ningbing then pivoted back to the events of 3 years ago. Even if you had your reasons, she started. What exactly is going on with the Fangs and Liu Ruyan? Quotes? I wasn't sure if it was just my imagination, but whenever Bai Ningbing uttered Liu Ruyan's name, her tone grew noticeably more frigid. I replied with a look of pure indifference. Those people mean absolutely nothing to me. Sure, the Fangs are technically my biological parents, but back then, Liu Yan was relentlessly stalking me. Returning to the Fangs and getting engaged to Liu Ruyan was simply the perfect chess move to shake Liu Yan off. Essentially, the moment I got engaged to her, Liu Yan finally stopped hounding me for good. Bai Ningbing arched an eyebrow. Is that all there is to it? I nodded frantically in confirmation. Liu Yan blackmailed me, so I played along with the engagement, just to make him and Liu Ruyan drop their guard. Under Bai Ningbing's intense, piercing interrogation, I spilled every single secret in one desperate breath. Since the Liu family had already crumbled to dust, and Liu Yan was rotting behind bars, there was no reason not to make everything crystal clear. As expected, Bai Ningbing's expression softened slightly. But just as she was about to say something more, my phone erupted into a loud, jarring ring. I glanced at the caller ID and instantly hit the decline button. But the caller was relentless, buzzing my phone again immediately. Bai Ningbing asked sternly, "Why aren't you answering?" Without even thinking twice. I blurted out, "It's just some telemarketer, nothing important." The drama of my divorce with Liu Ruyan over the past few days has become the biggest scandal in the city. I've already blocked Liu Ruyan's number, along with every single member of the Fang family. With things reaching such a fever pitch, they'll come looking for trouble the second they feel slighted. So anyone calling from an unknown number right now, I'd bet it's either Liu Ruyan or one of the Fangs. I have zero desire to talk to them, especially not while I'm here with you. Suddenly, the phone started screaming again, just as I reached out to kill the call once more. Bai Ningbing extended her hand toward me. My chest tightened as I stammered, "What are you doing?" Bai Ningbing countered coolly, "I'll answer it for you." Or do you prefer to answer it yourself? Crushed by Bai Ningbing's overwhelming authority, I reluctantly swiped to answer the call. From the other end of the line, Liu Ruyan's exhausted voice drifted through. "Tell me, what exactly is it that you want, so I'll give you everything." Her tone was thick with weariness and forced submission. I instinctively stole a glance at Bai Ningbing. Just as I feared, any trace of warmth in her eyes had vanished completely. My hand holding the phone couldn't stop trembling. Liu Ruyan pressed on, "Aren't you obsessed with money? I've reactivated that card for you. Buy whatever your heart desires. The only condition is that Fang Yuan must return." Before Liu Ruyan could even finish her sentence, Bai Ningbing snatched the phone right out of my hand and ended the call with a sharp, definitive click. Bai Ningbing looked at me, her voice low. "He treats you well." I let out 2 awkward, nervous chuckles, frantically explaining, "No, it's not like that at all. You can't just take what he says over the phone at face value. It's so easy to misunderstand. Everything he does is calculated and driven by an agenda. There isn't a single ounce of real emotion involved. I don't even know why, but whenever the topic of feelings comes up, I feel incredibly guilty and exposed in front of her." Bai Ningbing proceeded to grill me for several more hours, leaving me utterly breathless and drained. Eventually, my body simply gave out on me, and I collapsed onto Bai Ningbing, falling fast asleep. Under the glow of the bright chandelier, Bai Ningbing gently brushed the stray hairs from my forehead, before pulling a blanket over me to keep me warm. The moment she stepped out of the bedroom, Xiaowei was already waiting in the living room. Xiaowei scanned the modest, cramped apartment and asked Bai Ningbing, "Should we take the young master back to Tinglan Villa?" Bai Ningbing walked to the balcony and lit a cigarette. After 2 deep drags, she replied, "Don't disturb him tonight. Let him sleep right here. Go and bring my luggage up." Xiaowei returned shortly with her belongings. Afterward, Bai Ningbing began to inspect my living space with meticulous forensic detail. Only after confirming there were no signs of a woman living here did the tension that had gripped her heart for 2 years finally experience a moment of total serenity. She found a fresh bath towel, a soft pink one, that was clearly one of my spare sets. I was drifting in a haze of sleep until a full bladder jolted me awake. Groggy and half asleep, I stumbled toward the bathroom. But the moment I stepped out of my bedroom, my eyes widened as I saw Bai Ningbing with that pink towel wrapped around her waist. In that exact same instant, the doorbell began to chime with frantic aggression. I instinctively darted my eyes toward the entrance, then back at Bai Ningbing. She furrowed her brows in annoyance. "In the middle of the night, who on earth is looking for you now?" I glanced up at the wall clock. It was already 5 a.m. This wasn't the middle of the night anymore. The dawn was practically breaking. Outside the door, Liu Ruyan was acting like a total lunatic, obsessively mashing the doorbell without pause. As it turned out, seeing Fang Baichuan wake up in agonizing pain made her lose all her composure, sending her charging straight to my doorstep. Bai Ningbing looked at me coldly. "Go open the door." I shook my head violently. "No way." Outside, Liu Ruyan screamed, "Fang Yuan, open this door. If you don't, I'm calling a locksmith to break it down." My heart sank as I felt a wave of confusion. Why is this woman wandering around at this hour instead of staying by Fang Baichuan's side? What the hell is she doing here? My brain went completely numb, and I looked helplessly at Bai Ningbing. Bai Ningbing let out a disdainful snort, gesturing for me to go and hide. Seeing her expression grow increasingly terrifying, I didn't dare agree to hide. I scrambled to explain. "Listen, there are still some misunderstandings between us." In that moment, Liu Ruyan's voice came through the door again, dripping with malice. "You're the one refusing to open the door. Don't blame me if your lock gets completely trashed." Hardly had the words left her mouth when the lock began to rattle and groan. That woman actually brought a professional locksmith with her. I spun around and bolted toward where I kept my baseball bat. Today, I'm finally going to teach Liu Ruyan a lesson she'll never forget. This bastard is absolutely. But just as I pivoted, a sharp click echoed as the door swung wide open. I instinctively glanced back, my gaze colliding directly with Liu Ruyan standing at the threshold. Liu Ruyan's eyes were brimming with pure unadulterated rage. But the moment she processed the scene inside, her brain felt like it had been struck by a physical blow, leaving her mind a complete staggering blank. Her eyes drifted toward Bai Ningbing, who was illuminated under the brilliant glow of the chandelier. Bai Ningbing's breathtaking beauty was on full display, her eyes looking down like a queen surveying her subjects. Even Liu Ruyan, in her state of peak fury, was paralyzed by that overwhelming regal stare, frozen in place for several long seconds. Then Liu Ruyan's gaze slowly traced down from Bai Ningbing's porcelain collarbone, finally landing on that glaringly conspicuous pink bath towel wrapped around her waist. Liu Ruyan, already breathless, witnessed this intimate scene, and the fire in her chest erupted into a volcanic inferno, becoming utterly impossible to contain. She hissed through gritted teeth. "So, this is the real reason you've been screaming for a divorce, Fang Yuan, you're something else, truly." The locksmith, sensing the atmosphere was thick with gunpowder mud and bordering on lethal, didn't dare linger for another heartbeat. He didn't even wait to be paid, vanishing into thin air before anyone could blink. I too felt a desperate urge to grease my heels and bolt. I took a defiant step forward, glaring at Liu Ruyan with pure venom. As I warned her, "What the hell are you doing here?" "Get lost right now." Liu Ruyan let out a chilling sneer. "What am I doing here? If I hadn't come today, I never would have known." "Now, just what kind of person you really are?" Liu Ruyan's voice grew louder and more hysterical, until it finally peaked into a furious, guttural roar. "You exposed my business with Baichuan for the whole world to see, just to provide cover for your own filthy scandals. Fang Yuan, you've gone way too far." Hardly had the words left her mouth when a crisp crack exploded through the silent air. Bai Ningbing had lashed out with a lightning-fast strike, delivering a heavy, resounding slap across Liu Ruyan's face. In an instant, the tension escalated to a breaking point. It was a total bloodthirsty standoff. Liu Ruyan was convinced that Bai Ningbing was merely some random homewrecker who'd appeared out of thin air. To think she actually had the audacity to lay hands on her. This was the spark that ignited her fury into a blazing inferno, before I could even process what was happening. The two of them were locked in a violent scuffle. Liu Ruyan spent most of her days stuck inside a corporate office. Even if she worked out occasionally, she was no match for a woman who spent years living on the edge. Bai Ningbing was a different breed of dangerous. After a couple of failed strikes, Bai Ningbing effortlessly subdued her, pinning her face down onto the sofa. Liu Ruyan was a complete mess, her hair disheveled, and her composed image utterly shattered. Meanwhile, Bai Ningbing remained perfectly poised. Even the towel around her waist stayed exactly in place, without loosening so much as an inch. While they were fighting, my heart was in my throat the entire time, terrified that her towel might actually slip off. I scrambled to grab a jacket from the side, and draped it over Bai Ningbing's shoulders. Please just put this on first, I stammered. Bai Ningbing released Liu Ruyan and slipped into the jacket. From the very beginning until now, her gaze remained as sharp as an ice pick, drilling relentlessly into Liu Ruyan. I glanced at Liu Ruyan and urged her frantically, just leave already. If you keep pushing, there's no telling how bad tonight will end. Liu Ruyan was already vibrating with pure rage. But seeing me tell her to leave instead of kicking out, Bai Ningbing caused her fury to explode past the point of no return. She was completely beyond self-control. Bai Ningbing spoke with a chilling finality. If you dare utter one more insulting syllable about him, I guarantee you won't be walking out of this door. The moment the words left her lips, Bai Ning dashed vertical bar. Bing drew a compact, elegant pistol from her inner pocket. That cold steel muzzle pointed directly at Liu Ruyan's forehead. Liu Ruyan's breath hitched instantly, her pupils shrinking in a flash of pure terror. Her face was a mask of absolute horror. Bai Ningbing asked with an icy stare, "Want to test me?" The lethal intent radiating from her gaze loomed like a petrifying shadow, completely enveloping Liu Ruyan. In a place as refined as Hong Kong, Liu Ruyan had never faced such a lethal confrontation. Her eyes narrowed to thin slits as she locked gazes with Bai Ningbing, her expression simmering with raw resentment. Liu Ruyan shot a frigid glare at me while I was fuming with anxiety. If you keep pushing your luck, be careful, this apartment doesn't become your cold tombstone. You'll be rotting in the outskirts forever. When Liu Ruyan finally emerged from Jinjiang City, her head was throbbing with a chaotic buzz. Zhang Qianqian had been waiting for her downstairs the whole time. Seeing her descend with a face as pale as death and visible bruises marring her skin, Zhang Qianqian gasped in sheer horror. Is Fang Yuan still refusing to go through with the wedding? If he won't agree, then so be it. But how could he actually lay a hand on you? Recalling my infamous temper, Zhang Qianqian couldn't help but shudder again. Liu Ruyan's eyes glinted dangerously. Go and investigate him. That woman who's been clinging to him lately? I want to know exactly who she is. The moment Zhang Qianqian heard the word woman, her face was a mask of pure disbelief. She stared at Liu Ruyan in total shock. A woman Fang Yuan has another woman by his side. That's impossible, right? He's always been such a lone wolf. And even if someone is with him, it's usually young Master Tang. Seeing Zhang Qianqian's skepticism, the aura of menace on Liu Ruyan's face intensified. I witnessed it with my own damn eyes. Do you think I'm making this up, Ba? Vivid images kept flashing through Liu Ruyan's mind, specifically those lethal predatory eyes of Bai Ningbing. She felt a haunting sense of familiarity with that face, yet she couldn't pinpoint where they had crossed paths. Thinking back to how easily she drew that pistol, Liu Ruyan paused to reflect and muttered, "She's definitely connected to the underworld, yes. I'm going to find out exactly who this player is. Since when did Hong Kong have a heavy hitter like her?" The mention of the underworld left Zhang Qianqian even more baffled. After all this chaotic drama, any trace of sleepiness had been scared right out of me, especially with the way Bai Ningbing just acted. That aura of pure lethal danger she radiated left my heart hammering in my chest. I lowered my head, muttering to Bai Ningbing, "If you have questions, just ask me directly. Stop beating around the bush." Bai Ningbing locked eyes with me and asked, "Were you protecting her just now?" I shook my head frantically. "No, not at all. I just didn't want the place I've called home for 2 years to get stained with blood." I kept my voice low and serious. In a place like Hong Kong, you can't just break the law. Bai Ningbing actually let out a soft melodic laugh. To think my little brother is lecturing me on the legal system. I gave a slight pout in frustration. Anyway, I already explained to you exactly what that engagement with Liu Ruyan was about. Just don't do anything reckless or impulsive. And definitely don't hurt anyone. Bai Ningbing noticed how tense my body was, and the icy chill in her eyes finally began to thaw, replaced by the same old tenderness I remembered. She said softly, "Fine. I'll listen to you. I'll be a perfectly law-abiding citizen." As she spoke, Bai Ningbing reached out and gently ruffled my hair. She then asked, "Want to go back to sleep?" I shook my head immediately. How could I sleep now? After everything that just happened. I'm wide awake and my nerves are fried. Seeing my state, Bai Ningbing replied, "Since you're up, then let's move out." I instinctively glanced out the window. It was the middle of a freezing, bitter winter. Filled with confusion, I asked, "Move to where?" Bai Ningbing surveyed my cramped 100-square-meter apartment and looked visibly pained. She had given me endless resources and knowledge over the years, yet I had ended up living like this. Soon, Xiaowei arrived after a quick phone call. By that night, my bags were packed, and I was whisked away to Tinglan Villa, staring at the massive, sprawling castle estate before me. I looked at Bai Ningbing in shock. "This is yours." Joe. Bai Ningbing replied simply, "It's yours." And it was true, the entire title of this manor was in my name. My lips twitched involuntarily. Mine. "Do you even remember this place? Back then, you mentioned how much you adored it, and I promised to make it yours." I thought to myself, I've praised way too many places in the past. I honestly couldn't recall ever expressing any love for this specific estate. However, this manor was legendary within Hong Kong circles. Liu Ruyan had known this palace was uninhabited for years, and had actually ordered Jiang Tianqian to hunt down the mysterious owner, intent on purchasing it for herself. But Jiang Tianqian had exhausted every resource, and still failed to uncover a single shred of info on the proprietor. Finding out that I am actually the lord of this manor sent a massive jolt of shock through my system. Are we really staying here from now on? Bai Ningbing gave a slow, deliberate nod. I have some business to settle here in Hong Kong, so we might be residing here for quite some time. I uttered a quiet "oh," since Bai Ningbing stated she had a busy schedule. I didn't feel it was right to pry any further. When it came to her professional affairs, I had always made it a point never to interfere. As Xiaowei escorted me to my suite, he whispered, "This was originally the coming-of-age gift the miss prepared for you, though she couldn't present it on your 18th birthday. It's better late than never." At the mention of a coming-of-age gift, my eyes began to sting with a sudden sharp ache. Bai Ningbing once told me that for my transition to manhood, she would gift me the one thing I had been dreaming of my entire life. Before father passed away, my birthday gala was already being meticulously prepared, with Bai Ningbing herself spearheading every single detail. I let out a silent, weary sigh and nodded slowly. Receiving this gift now? I suppose it's not too late after all. Now that the Liu family has been utterly crushed by Bai Ningbing, she stands unopposed at the absolute pinnacle of power in country FEO. There is no one left who can lay a finger on her, and no one left who can ever threaten me again. Young master, please try to get some more rest. The kitchen is currently whipping up breakfast. Once the miss finishes her global video conference, she'll be over to join you for the meal. Xiaowei informed me politely. I nodded in response. All right. My bedroom offered a breathtaking view of the vast ocean. The moment I stepped inside, I witnessed the first light of dawn, slowly ascending from the depths of the ocean. The moment the sun crested the horizon, the sheer breathtaking majesty of the view left me completely awestruck. Back when I was in country FA, it was a landlocked territory far from the coast. I had always harbored a deep longing to see the sun emerging from the surface of the sea. I never imagined Bai Ningbing would cherish this desire and bring it to life here. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Fang Baichuan had been tortured by pain all night. Looking so haggard he was barely recognizable as human. Liu Suyun's heart shattered at the sight of his agony. Fang Nanshan had also stayed up the entire night, venting his immense frustration in a fit of rage earlier. But with multiple severe injuries racking his body, even the most potent painkillers available seemed to have almost no effect on him. When Liu Ruyan finally returned, Liu Suyun rushed to meet her. "Ruyan, what happened? Did he agree to call Professor Jin Saw?" Liu Ruyan's expression was incredibly grim. She merely cast a fleeting glance at Fang Baichuan, and in that single look, everyone knew, despite her silence, that she hadn't brought back a shred of good news. Fang Yuan had absolutely refused to help. Liu Suyun's composure instantly evaporated into a breakdown. How can he be so cold-blooded yet? This is a matter of life and death. Fang Baichuan looked toward Liu Ruyan, but turned his head away after just one glance. His resentment toward me was reaching a boiling point. Liu Suyun tried to call my number directly. However, all she heard was the icy automated rejection tone. It turned out I had blacklisted her number long ago. Unable to get through, her fury intensified. In a desperate rage, she borrowed a phone from a nurse and finally managed to connect to my line. Before I could even utter a single syllable, Liu Suyun barked into the receiver, "Fang Yuan, you have gone way too far. It's one thing to target Baichuan on a normal day, but look at the situation we're in now. How can you still be this petty and reckless tool?" She was pointing the finger at me. I replied with a voice as cold as ice. "I don't think you have the right to say that to me." Hearing my frigid response, Liu Suyun's hand gripping the phone trembled violently. "Regardless of how you perceive me, I am and will always be your biological mother. That is an unalterable fact, Liu Suyun declared. I let out a sharp mocking scoff, my voice dripping with venom. Biological mother, the way you've played the role of a mother has certainly been an eye-opening experience for me. Liu Suyun was so incensed that her vision momentarily went dark. If not for Fang Baichuan's critical condition, she would have wanted nothing more than to give me a brutal lesson. Suppressing her surging rage, she took several deep, shaky breaths and hissed through gritted teeth, "Where are you right now? I'm coming to find you." "And why would you do that?" "We need to have a real conversation." Baichuan's body simply cannot wait any longer. She was desperate to settle this with me face to face. "I have absolutely nothing to discuss with you. Everything that needed to be said was already made crystal clear to you before. Liu Suyun, I'm never returning to the Fang family. And a mother like you is a luxury I simply can't afford. So it's best if we both pretend the other doesn't exist." With that, I decisively severed the connection. My line was already difficult enough to reach, and now that I had hung up so bluntly, Liu Suyun's entire frame shook with indignation. Specifically, that line about not being able to afford her made her chest feel as though it were stuffed with lead, suffocating and unbearable. Fang Nanshan stepped out of the hospital room, only to find Liu Suyun looking utterly devastated. Liu Suyun looked up at him, her face a mask of grief, and sobbed, "Tell me, how can he be so stubborn? No matter how deep the grudge is, can't he wait until Baichuan is fully recovered before settling the score? Why must he be so heartless at a critical moment like this? Fang Nanshan's brow furrowed deeply. "I'll go find him myself." Liu Suyun continued her lament. "It's not like we're asking for his life. It's just a simple phone call to Professor Jin. Yet he refuses to lift a finger. How did I end up raising such a monster of a son?" When I was first brought back to them, Liu Suyun actually felt a shred of gratitude toward the Beis. But now her resentment toward me had mutated into a direct bitter grudge against the Bai family, believing it was all because the Beis failed to raise me properly. Fang Nanshan furrowed his brow, his expression grim. "Go and consult with the doctors first," he commanded. Baichuan was in absolute agony all through the night. "Inquire if there are any specialized treatments or breakthrough drugs that can finally suppress his suffering. That I don't care about the cost. Money is no object." Liu Suyun nodded in agreement. "I'll handle that. As for you, when you find him, try to keep your cool and reason with him properly. Even though we're both seething with resentment toward him, our only glimmer of hope rests entirely on Fang Yuan's shoulders. He is the ultimate key player in this mess, and we truly cannot afford to cross him right now." Fang Nanshan signaled his understanding, and immediately headed straight for Jinjiang City to hunt me down. Inside the ward, Fang Baichuan had been writhing in pain for hours. Whatever cocktail of meds the doctors had finally pumped into him seemed to have provided a sliver of relief at last. He looked at Liu Ruyan with hollow eyes and rasped, "Ruyan, I won't be able to watch the sunrise anytime soon, will I?" Liu Ruyan took his hand in hers, offering a gentle, soothing whisper. "Once you've recovered, I'll take you myself. Has the Liu family been giving you trouble?" The moment he thought about how the Liu elders had treated him since the truth emerged, that he wasn't the biological heir to the Fangs, a wave of pure loathing washed over Fang Baichuan's heart. But in front of Liu Ruyan, he maintained a mask of perfect composure. Liu Ruyan continued, "Don't waste your energy worrying about that." Fang Baichuan let out a heavy, defeated sigh. "I don't even have the strength to care about them anymore. I have this sinking feeling that I won't make it through this time." "Don't you dare say that." Before he could finish his thought, Liu Ruyan silenced him with a sharp yet soft rebuke. "Tell me, can your wedding with him still go on as scheduled?" "Yashuo." At the mention of the wedding, a flash of bitter resentment darted through Liu Ruyan's eyes. The image of that woman she saw in my apartment last night had been gnawing at her soul ever since. The woman had clearly just stepped out of the shower, and the color of that towel around her waist was unmistakably mine. Every piece of evidence pointed to one scandalous conclusion. My relationship with that woman was anything but ordinary. "Ruyan!" She snapped back to reality and looked at Fang Baichuan. Fang Baichuan, looking sickly and frail, let out a weak, labored sigh. "If the elders at the ancestral house acknowledge Fang Yuan Chietit, then you must go ahead and marry him." Seeing Fang Baichuan in such a pathetic, sickly state, while he actually urged her to go through with our marriage, made Liu Ruyan's expression darken with visible disgust. "There is no way in hell I'm marrying him." She snapped instantly without a moment's hesitation. But the second those words escaped her lips, the suffocating weight in her chest only grew more unbearable. As if a massive boulder were crushing the life out of her, Fang Baichuan feigned a look of pure astonishment. "Right now, your recovery is the only thing that matters." Liu Ruyan interrupted impatiently, her patience wearing thin. She clearly wanted to end any discussion involving me. At that precise moment, Jiang Qianqian knocked and entered the room, casting a heavy, meaningful glance toward Liu Ruyan. Understanding the silent signal immediately, Liu Ruyan stood up and said, I need to step out for a moment. Just focus on getting some rest. Once they were safely outside the ward, Liu Ruyan glared at Jiang Qianqian with a somber face. Did you find her? Jiang Qianqian shook her head. Nothing. Having come up completely empty-handed, Liu Ruyan's face instantly twisted into a mask of fury. You dare summon me when you found nothing? Jiang Qianqian replied solemnly the moment I began the search. An incredibly powerful force moved to block my every path. It seems our opponent's background is anything but simple. Being shut down the second an investigation starts, it was glaringly obvious that this woman was no ordinary person. Last night back at Jinjiang City, when that woman drew her weapon and aimed it at her, Liu Ruyan had already sensed something was off. But this deliberate shielding of her identity only added a layer of dangerous mystery to the situation. Perhaps you should just demand the truth from Fang Yuan, Jiang Qianqian suggested tentatively. If not mentioning me was fine, the mere mention of my name made Liu Ruyan feel a throbbing ache in the back of her skull. Right now, she didn't even want to acknowledge my existence. The thought of me being intimate with another woman felt like she had swallowed a mouthful of jagged shards, leaving a raw, stinging pain in her heart. Who exactly was this woman by my side? And why was she untraceable? Liu Ruyan returned to the ward with a grim, ashen face. Fang Baichuan looked up and asked, What's wrong? Is the company facing some sort of crisis? He didn't even consider that it might be about me. Liu Ruyan shook her head. It's nothing, Ruyan. I want to be discharged. As soon as Liu Ruyan heard this, her face darkened. Don't talk nonsense. Fang Baichuan's face was a mask of agony. This suffocating scent of disinfectant? It makes me feel like I might never walk out of this hospital alive. I could tell he was being dead serious. Anyone hit with so many ailments at once would be paralyzed with fear. For him, this was undoubtedly the most brutal hurdle of his life. Whether he could actually clear it was anyone's guess. Seeing Liu Ruyan remain silent, Fang Baichuan reached out and feebly tugged at her hand. I want to live by the coast where I can see the ocean. A place where I can watch the sunrise and the sunset. Ruyan, I'm terrified. These might be the final moments of my life. I don't want to waste them rotting in a hospital bed. Liu Ruyan gazed at Fang Baichuan's face, which had become so gaunt and hollow in just 2 days. Ultimately, her heart wavered. I'll have Jiang Tianqian make the arrangements. Fang Baichuan gave a bitter, weak nod. Thank you. I'm just so scared. If these are my final days, I don't want them to end in a clinic. You fool, Liu Ruyan sighed, her heart aching for him. By the time she stepped out of the ward again, it was already high noon. Sitting in the car, Liu Ruyan pondered for a moment before commanding head over to Shallow Bay. Tell the person in charge there that I want to lease Tinglan Villa for a while. After weighing her options, the Tinglan residence in Shallow Bay seemed to be the dream destination Fang Baichuan craved. The air there was crisp and rejuvenating, perfect for someone trying to recover. Moreover, from the bedroom windows, one could witness the majestic sunrise and the fading dusk in all their panoramic glory. Crucially, the estate was incredibly spacious. Given Fang Baichuan's current fragile state, he required a full medical team and advanced equipment on site. Considering everything, Liu Ruyan felt that Tinglan Villa was the only acceptable choice. She was well aware that the mysterious owner of Tinglan Villa had zero interest in selling. Under those circumstances, securing a lease for a period was the next best move. When Jiang Qianqian heard the order to rent Tinglan Villa, a flicker of surprise crossed her features. Do you really think the owner would be open to a rental? Everyone knew the estate had remained a ghost house for years. The rent is negotiable. Even triple the market rate wouldn't be an issue. Jiang Qianqian nodded in acknowledgement. Understood. Get it done this afternoon. Liu Ruyan commanded her mind already on Baichuan. When it came to him, she was always meticulously thorough, and this time was no exception. Though she loathed to admit it, she couldn't ignore the grim reality. Baichuan might not survive this brutal crisis. Any one of these conditions would be manageable on its own. But with all of them striking him simultaneously, his situation had become lethally precarious. Meanwhile, back at the Tinglan estate, my sleep last night had been anything but restful. After Bai Ningbing coaxed me into eating some breakfast, I collapsed back into a deep slumber. I slept through the entire morning, to the point where I had zero appetite for lunch. Bai Ningbing sat by my side, adoringly giving my cheek a playful pinch. Are you really that exhausted? Dazed and half-conscious with fatigue, I merely let out a low grunt and rolled over, intent on drifting back to sleep. Seeing me in such a state of total depletion, Bai Ningbing decided to let me rest in peace, and quietly stepped out of the bedroom. She shot a sharp glance at the servant waiting at the door, ordering do not disturb him for any reason. Wait until he wakes up naturally before serving food. Understood, ma'am, the servant replied with a bow. Bai Ningbing took a call, and skipping her own lunch without a second thought, hurriedly departed from the Tinglan residence. I didn't stir until nearly 2 o'clock p.m. when a call from Yang Tingting jolted me awake. She mentioned several flaws in the design blueprint that the architects were completely baffled by. I dragged myself out of bed. Wait for me, I'm coming over. As I ended the call, after freshening up and changing into fresh gear, I spotted a servant waiting at my door. Young master, you're awake. The miss left strict orders for you to have a meal the moment you stirred. Where is she? I asked, still feeling a bit dazed. Everything felt surreal since Bai Ningbing found me. The miss took an urgent call and headed out. She insisted you look after yourself and eat first. Bai Ningbing was always a whirlwind of activity. Back in Country F, when father was still with us, I'd often go an entire week without catching a glimpse of her. I originally planned to skip the meal entirely, but the second I caught a whiff of those nostalgic aromas downstairs, my legs turned to jelly. I couldn't move an inch. This was the flavor of my childhood through and through. I have to admit, during my 2-year stint here in Hong Kong, the local cuisine never quite sat right with me. Finally tasting my favorite dishes again, I polished off 4 bowls of rice in one go, leaving the nearby servants absolutely shell-shocked. Just then, the landline began to ring. The butler hurried over to answer it. It was a call from Bai Ningbing herself. When asked about my current condition, the butler instinctively glanced toward the dining room. The young master is up and about, and he's currently enjoying his meal. How is his appetite? Pulse? Extraordinary. He's already on his 4th bowl. I couldn't hear the response from the other side, but the butler hung up and rushed over to the table. Young master, the miss says you must stop eating immediately. I was just about to reach for another piece of fish when those words hit me. I looked up at him, my face a mask of pure confusion. The miss is concerned that overindulging will lead to severe stomach discomfort. Knowing it was a direct order from Bai Ningbing, I obediently set down my chopsticks without a word. As I was exiting the gates of Tinglan Villa, I literally ran right into Zhang Tianqian, who was busy prying for info about the manor's owner. Zhang Tianqian froze the moment she saw me. Fang Yuan, what on earth are you doing here? I cocked an eyebrow, offering no explanation. Instead, I countered, and why are you here? Heck. In Zhang Tianqian's narrow worldview, there was zero reason for me to set foot in this place. But from where I stood, Zhang Tianqian also had zero business lingering around this territory. The moment I threw the question back at her, a flash of sheer panic flickered in Zhang Tianqian's eyes. Just handling a few errands, she stammered. In all of Shallow Bay, Tinglan Villa was the only estate standing, and between Liu Ruyan and Bai Ningbing, there wasn't a single shred of a connection. What kind of errands? Oh shit. Zhang Tianqian clearly expected me to drop the subject, but I pressed her with one more follow-up. Now she looked completely tongue-tied, hesitating to speak. Observing her flustered state, I already had a pretty good idea of what was going on. This wouldn't happen to be about Fang Baichuan, would it? She egged. The second I uttered his name, Zhang Tianqian became even more paralyzed, unsure how to respond. Her blatant inability to deny it only served to confirm the suspicion swirling in my mind. I didn't waste another breath on her. I simply let out a cold snort and walked away. Once I was out of sight, Zhang Tianqian immediately turned her desperate attention back to the security team. While we were busy talking earlier, the guards had already signaled their superiors for instructions. Please leave immediately, the guard stated firmly. Our manager does not see outsiders, and this estate is absolutely not for rent. Hearing such a blunt and final rejection, Zhang Tianqian's heart sank into her stomach, yet she still refused to give up hope. Did you actually mention the rental price to your superiors? The security guard heard her bring up money sum and shot her a look of pure unadulterated disdain. Ms. Zhang, the Liu family may be the top titans of Hong Kong, but since our master owns this legendary estate, do you honestly think they care about a bit of pocket change? Could I just ask one more thing? Who is the actual owner behind this manor? Our gentleman's current medical state is extremely unique, yet, and he desperately needs a place like this. In reality, Zhang Tianqian knew exactly why Liu Ruyan was so hell-bent on securing this specific location. It wasn't that the Liu family lacked luxury properties, it was that the current Liu elders held a deep-seated loathing for Fang Baichuan. If you were to move into one of the Liu family's official manors, those elders would undoubtedly step in to shut it down. The guard's expression turned frostier. Miss Zhang, salts, you are prying into things that are strictly off-limits. I just ran into Feng Yuan over there, she muttered. Liu Ruyan's brow knitted into a tight furrow. Right at that moment, Fang Nanshan arrived, his face flushed with irritation, having caught Zhang Tianqian's words from a distance. Where exactly did you run into him? Guessed. He had spent the entire morning banging on the door at Jinjiang City, but not a single soul had answered. Hearing Zhang Tianqian mention seeing me out and about, he thought to himself how carefree I must be, having the luxury to wander around aimlessly. Seeing Fang Nanshan approach, Zhang Tianqian replied respectfully at Tinglan Villa in Shallow Bay, What the hell was he doing there? The moment he heard I was at Tinglan Villa, Fong Nanshan's expression turned instantly dark, his mind racing with suspicious thoughts. Could I be planning a total fallout with the Fang family, seeking some new path over there? In all of Hong Kong, very few would even look at me now, and the owner of Tinglan Villa was shrouded in mystery. To own such a massive estate in Hong Kong, their status had to be beyond extraordinary. If I thought I could cling to someone like that, I was dreaming. Jiang Qian added, I'm not entirely sure. I didn't even want to waste a single breath talking to him. Besides, the staff at Tinglan Villa are tight-lipped. How could I possibly know his true objective there? Liu Ruyan issued a grim cold command. Find out who the owner behind that place is immediately. Seeing that Liu Ruyan still refused to give up, Jiang Qian felt a wave of helplessness. She could only nod her head, beginning to throb. Inside the oppressive hospital ward, Liu Suyun had been tethered to Fang Baichuan's side for days. Watching him slip into agonizing unconsciousness, time and time again, the sight left a bitter taste in her mouth. Just as Liu Ruyan prepared to step forward, her phone erupted with a ringtone. Return home this instant. Feng Man's tone on the other end was incredibly stern. Liu Ruyan glanced at the now slumbering Fang Baichuan, offering a brief confirmation into the phone. As she hung up, she saw Liu Suyun staring at her with a face full of grief. I heard Professor Jin isn't just a master at controlling the illness, but also highly skilled at alleviating a patient's suffering. Ruyan Baichuan just passed out from the pain. Liu Suyun spoke, her voice thick with anguish. Liu Ruyan had heard about Fang Yuan being so skilled at numbing a patient's agony. She felt that dragging Fang Yuan back was becoming an absolute necessity. She had been relentlessly pressuring the hospital director and even personally dialed Fang Yuan herself, recalling his freezing tone over the phone and how he completely dismissed her even when threatened. Liu Ruyan felt a splitting headache coming on. Ruyan, you have to find a way. Baichuan is suffering far too much. Liu Suyun begged, her voice thick with desperation. Liu Ruyan nodded. I'll handle it. And Ruyan? Baichuan's health is in such a state now. The situation between the two of you, this. Liu Suyun's voice trailed off, unable to continue. Deep down, she still desperately hoped that Baichuan and Liu Ruyan would end up together. But after seeing that mountain of medical reports, and the pathetic way Baichuan was being ravaged, by pain reality finally began to sink in. There was no way the Liu family would ever accept him. Worst case, it would trigger the Liu elders' wrath. Even if Ruyan stayed with Baichuan in the end, the Fang family would pay a heavy price for it. After weighing the grim consequences, Liu Suyun took a sharp, shaky breath. The business between you and Fang Yuan cannot be delayed. No matter what, you must get him back here. Previously, she wanted Liu Ruyan to spend every waking second at Baichuan's bedside. But what was the use of her staying now? She wasn't a doctor, and the only doctor who mattered was tied to me. The moment her relationship with me was mentioned, Liu Ruyan's face instantly darkened. She knew exactly why her mother had called, and what lecture was waiting for her at home. That damn Fang Yuan. How did he manage to wrap those old geezers around his little finger so easily? An hour later, Liu Ruyan arrived back at the Liu ancestral manor. Feng Man's face was livid the moment she saw her. What did you promise me yesterday? She barked. You swore you wouldn't see Fang Baichuan again. Did my words go in one ear and out the other? Feng Man spat out every syllable with venomous intensity. Considering the lethal cocktail of illnesses Baichuan had, she couldn't help but feel a surge of pure indignation. How could a young man suddenly be riddled with so many ailments? If it were an elder suffering these afflictions, it would be one thing. But for Baichuan to be struck by multiple fatal conditions at his age. Liu Ruyan responded with a voice dripping in icy resolve. Regarding the matter between me and Fang Yuan, stay out of it and don't interfere again. What did you just say? Are you honestly still planning to be with Fang Baichuan? This has nothing to do with Baichuan. Liu Ruyan cut Feng Man off mid-sentence, her tone blunt. To be fair, before last night's events, perhaps it was because her relationship with Baichuan had truly hit a dead end with no hope of progress. But as the image of that mysterious woman back at Jinjiang City flashed in her mind, Liu Ruyan's expression became increasingly grim. Then what exactly is the reason, Kiet? Feng Man didn't believe for a single second that this had nothing to do with Fang Baichuan. Liu Ruyan stood her ground. I told you, it's not about Baichuan. Baichuan. Liu Ruyan, let me make this crystal clear to you. Even if things fall through with Fang Yuan, don't even dream of being with Fang Baichuan. Not unless all of us are dead and buried. By all of us, she meant the 6 formidable elders of the household. They were the undisputed titans of the family hierarchy. Liu Ruyan felt a throbbing migraine of pure frustration. There is no future for me and Baichuan. But I'm not tying the knot with Fang Yuan either. Both women were locked in a fierce, unyielding stalemate. Feng Man shot a lethal glare at Liu Ruyan, sneering, fine then. If you don't want to marry him, so be it. But you should know damn well exactly why our family even looks at the Fangs. Liu Ruyan understood the stakes perfectly. It was all because the Fang family controlled an incredibly rare and precious mineral deposit. There are less than 5 such mines in the entire world. The Fangs were equally aware that without the Liu family's protection, they couldn't hope to hold on to that treasure for long. The materials extracted from that specific mine happened to be the lifeblood the Liu family desperately needed. If the Lius could secure this resource elsewhere, they wouldn't give the Fang family a second glance. Feng Man closed her eyes, trying to compose herself. Then she continued, "Your uncle just received intelligence that the Titan from Country F has officially arrived in Hong Kong." The legend from Country F, upon hearing this, Liu Ruyan's pupils instantly constricted with shock. The sole successor to the prestigious Bai family empire. Feng Man nodded solemnly. "You must find a way to establish a connection with them. With that powerful alliance secured, the Liu family won't have to worry about our future hitting a dead end once the Fang family's mines are depleted." I spent the entire afternoon locked in meetings at the studio. The clock had just struck 6 p.m. shuck when Bai Ningbing's call buzzed in. "Get down here now." I'm parked on the road just outside the building. I can't idle here for long, so make it quick. The moment I stepped out of the skyscraper's lobby, I spotted her incredibly flashy eye-catching car nearby and hurried toward it at a brisk pace. Just then, my phone began to vibrate once again. I picked it up without thinking. I'd been fielding calls from high-profile clients all day and assumed it was just another business lead. "Hello? Where the hell are you?" Fong Nanshan's voice rasped through the line, thick with suppressed rage. Even through the speaker, I vertical bar could feel the sheer heat of the fury he was barely holding back. "What do you want, Chisel?" Fang Nanshan hissed through gritted teeth. "Give Fang Yuan a call right now and tell him to drag his ass back here immediately." I took. "Why don't I just call your mother instead?" Yo. The insult flew out of my mouth before I could stop it. The other end of the line went deathly silent for a heartbeat. Then Feng Nanshan's voice erupted with even greater venom. "Fang Yuan, you're getting more insolent by the second, aren't you?" "I don't know about insolent," I replied coldly. "I haven't broken any laws, vassal. So how exactly am I out of line?" "Ini," Feng Nanshan roared back. "My mother is your grandmother, you brat. Ish, I dare you to say another word like that? You're nothing but an uncultured, ignorant peasant who will never understand the true heights of the world." Fang Yuan, Feng Nanshan was hyperventilating with rage. "Where are you hiding, Tie? If he could lay his hands on me at this moment, he would undoubtedly try to beat me into a pulp." I didn't give him the chance and hung up the phone. On the other end of the line, Feng Nanshan heard the hollow drone of the dial tone and nearly choked on his own skyrocketing blood pressure. He had already failed to track me down at Jinjiang City, leaving his gut churning with a belly full of rage, only to find his calls blocked once he returned to the hospital. Now that he had finally managed to break through, he hadn't even finished a sentence before I tore into him. Right now he was itching to hunt me down and literally rip my head off. Liu Suyun, standing right by his side, had heard every single venomous word I spat at Fang Nanshan through the speaker. She let out a weary, defeated sigh. "Does he truly despise us that much? Where exactly did we go so wrong with him?" Fang Nanshan let out a guttural roar. "Wrong, we wasted our lives raising an ungrateful dog." He barked into his phone, immediately dialing a new contact. He was determined to pinpoint my location at any cost. He wanted to make me pay dearly for the sheer arrogance I displayed during that phone call. Liu Suyun sighed helplessly once more, glancing toward the sterile quiet of the hospital ward. "Aren't you supposed to attend Elder Pei's banquet tonight? You should get moving. Don't let this waste any more of your time." Meanwhile, as I climbed into the car, I realized there was already someone in the passenger seat. Sister Yanning. Yanning was Country F's most legendary cardiac specialist, a surgeon whose record was flawlessly untainted by error. In the medical world, they called her the Divine Ghost Hand. Yanning turned back to look at me from the front seat, teasing with a smirk, "You're quite the hide-and-seek pro kid. Your sister has been scouring the earth for you all these years. If we hadn't found you soon, I was starting to think she'd have to raid the underworld, just to see if you were hiding among the dead." Hearing that Bai Ningbing had never stopped searching for me, a wave of guilt washed through my chest. I stole a cautious, apprehensive glance at the cold, elegant Bai Ningbing beside me. Suddenly, Bai Ningbing reached out and snatched the phone from my hand. My heart did a violent somersault, and my brow twitched in sheer panic. Bai Ningbing simply murmured a chilly quiet. I watched in silence as she began scrolling through my contacts and dissecting my various messaging apps. So it turns out she's conducting a background check on me. My heart was in a chaotic knot as I lunged forward and snatched the phone back. "What exactly is the point of this? I graduated and left school years ago. Back then, you strictly forbade me from dating Tualt, but I'm long past being a student now. Bai Ningbing locked eyes with me and let out a soft melodic chuckle. Suddenly, she reached out and hooked her hand behind my head, forcefully pulling me down until I was pinned against her lap. I hurriedly hissed in a low voice, "Wait, what are you doing?" "Oh, Sister Yanning is still right there." The words had barely left my mouth when the privacy partition in the car slid up with a sharp swish. I still felt incredibly awkward and restless, squirming within Bai Ningbing's embrace. As I struggled to lift myself off her legs, desperately reminding her that I'm a grown man now, Bai Ningbing gave a playful scoff. "Is that so? So does our little Shin want to experience romance now?" My mouth twitched uncontrollably. Romance? What romance? Neo. The thought hasn't even crossed my mind. Seeing my silence, Bai Ningbing pressed on. "Or perhaps you've actually taken that engagement with her seriously. The wedding is supposed to be in just a few days. If I hadn't shown up, did you really intend to go through with marrying her?" Underneath Bai Ningbing's calm words, I could detect a distinct lethal undertone of danger. No, but she clearly wasn't buying it. Xiao Wei had already meticulously investigated every detail. The report she saw claimed that from start to finish I hadn't made a single move to resist the arrangement, now fully enveloped by the predatory aura radiating from Bai Ningbing. I blurted out an explanation. "She's never going to marry me," and that was the absolute truth. The reason I never violently opposed the marriage was that I knew deep down Liu Ruyan had no intention of actually becoming my wife. Especially with Fang Baichuan in the picture, he would never sit by and let her marry me. Furthermore, I hadn't realized the Liu family had crumbled, and I feared enemies were still lurking in the shadows. Any resistance might have dragged Bai Ningbing into the crossfire. "You're that certain? Well, you saw it yourself. She completely abandoned me for the sake of another man." Bai Ningbing fell into a heavy silence for a moment, before coldly echoing "another man" in an instant. The atmosphere inside the car became suffocatingly tense, even if the situation between me and Liu Ruyan filled Bai Ningbing with utter dissatisfaction. The fact that Liu Ruyan abandoned me for someone else made her blood boil even more. The boy she had raised and cherished in the palm of her hand should never have to endure such humiliation from another woman. A dark predatory gleam flickered deep within Bai Ningbing's eyes. No one could truly decipher the lethal intent hidden within those depths. The car slowly came to a halt, and only then did I realize that Bai Ningbing had brought me to a grand banquet. I recognized this family immediately. It was hosted by the Peis, one of Hong Kong's most prestigious clans. Over the past few years, for the Pei Patriarch's birthday, both families would send representatives to attend. If my memory serves me right, I heard rumors last year that this year marks the old master's 80th milestone birthday. Gazing at the banquet hall, the scene was far more opulent and grand than ever before. Luxury cars arrived in a never-ending procession, surrounded by brilliant floodlit grounds that were absolutely dazzling. At that moment, Xiao Wei respectfully held the door open. "Miss!" Qi Yan looked at Zhang Yuan with a frigid expression. "Did you find them?" Zhang Yuan shook his head. "No." Upon hearing that Zhang Yuan had failed to uncover the truth, Qi Yan's face visibly soured. If there were no results, then why was he even being summoned? The moment I began the investigation, Zhang Yuan explained, a powerful shadow force blocked my path immediately. It appears the target's identity is far from ordinary. To be met with such immediate resistance, this person's status was indeed high level. He had already sensed this last night at Jinjiang City, the moment that man drew his weapon on him without a second thought. But this deliberate shielding of an identity made everything feel far too mysterious. "Why don't you ask Ms. Chow directly?" Zhang Yuan suggested. A standard investigation was clearly a dead end, since a hidden power was actively sabotaging the search. The target's movements in Hong Kong were surely top secret. Mentioning Chao Xingye was a mistake. The mere name made Qi Yan's head throb with agonizing pulses. Right now, he didn't even want to acknowledge Chao Xingye's existence. Yet the thought of her being intimate with another man felt as if he had swallowed a mouthful of jagged razor blades, leaving a lingering raw ache in his chest. Who exactly was the man by Chao Xingye's side? Since the investigation hit a dead end, Qi Yan returned to the ward with a dark, brooding expression. Liang Yutong looked up at him with concern. "What's wrong? Is the company facing some trouble?" She didn't even suspect it was about Chao Xingye. Qi Yan shook his head. "It's nothing. Ayan! I want to be discharged from this place." Qi Yan's face instantly darkened at her words. "Don't talk nonsense." Liang Yutong's face twisted in pain. "This suffocating scent of disinfectant? It makes me feel like I'll never have the chance to step out of this hospital alive. Ayan, I'm terrified." She was being brutally honest. The fear was real and paralyzing. Who wouldn't be scared when hit with so many ailments at once? This was a massive, life-threatening hurdle in her path, and whether she could clear it was a complete mystery. Seeing Qi Yan remain silent, Liang Yutong reached out and feebly tugged at his hand. I want to live by the shore, where I can watch the ocean, the sunrise, and the sunset. Ayan, I'm so afraid. These might be the final moments of my life. While trapped in a hospital, one can't help but doubt their own survival, wondering if their life can truly go on. Ki-yan gazed at Liang Yutong's face in just 2 days. She had become so gaunt and withered. I'll have Zhang Yuan make the arrangements. In the end, his heart softened. Liang Yutong gave a bitter, weak nod. Thank you. I'm just scared these are my final days, and I don't want to spend them rotting in a ward. You fool, Qi-yan let out a heavy sigh. By the time he left the ward again, it was already noon. In the car, Qi-yan lit a cigarette and pondered. Head over to Shallow Bay. Tell the person in charge there that I want to lease Tinglan Villa for a while. After weighing all his options, Shallow Bay was likely the one sanctuary Liang Yutong craved most. The atmosphere there was pristine, making it the ultimate retreat for recovery. Plus the sweeping views from those manor windows, whether chasing the crimson dusk or the golden dawn, were absolutely unrivaled. More importantly, it was vast. Though he owned plenty of luxury beachfronts, none were truly optimized for long-term convalescence. The main issue was the lack of sheer scale. With Liang Yutong's health deteriorating like this, a full-scale medical team had to be stationed on-site alongside a mountain of specialized equipment. So after cycling through every possibility, Qi-yan concluded that Tinglan Villa was the only logical choice. The shadow owner of Tinglan Villa refused to sell. Qi-yan had known that for a long time. If that was the case, securing a temporary lease would have to suffice. When Zhang Yuan heard the order to rent Tinglan Villa, a flicker of doubt crossed his eyes. Do you really think the landlord will agree to rent? That place had remained a ghost house for years. They were well aware of that. They wouldn't even sell it before. So would they really care about a bit of chump change for rent? Qi-yan countered, the price is negotiable. Offer them 5 times the market rate if you have to. Zhang Yuan nodded. Understood. I'll get right on it. See to it this afternoon, Qi-yan added firmly. When it came to Liang Yutong's well-being, he was always meticulously obsessive, and this situation was no different. Though it was a bitter pill to swallow, he had to face the grim reality. There was a high probability that Liang Yutong wouldn't be able to clear this final hurdle. Any of those 3 illnesses alone would be manageable, but with all of them striking Liang Yutong at once, it was a death sentence waiting to happen. Meanwhile, over at Tinglan Villa, Qiao Xinye's sleep had been restless and broken. After Qiao Rongchuan coaxed her into a meager breakfast, she collapsed back into sleep for the entire morning. She didn't even have the energy to look at lunch. Qiao Rongchuan sat by her bedside, adoringly pinching her pale, soft cheek. Are you really that exhausted? Qiao Xinye was beyond exhausted, merely grunting as she rolled over, desperate to plunge back into sleep. Seeing her in such a drained state, Qiao Rongchuan decided to stop disturbing her and quietly exited the room. As he stepped out, he glanced at the servant waiting by the door and commanded, do not wake her. Let her rest until she wakes up naturally to eat. The servant bowed respectfully in agreement. Just then, Qiao Rongchuan received an urgent call and vanished from Tinglan Villa without even touching lunch. Cao Xinye remained in a deep slumber until nearly 2 o'clock p.m. when Yang Tingting's call finally jolted her awake. She reported that the current design had several flaws that the architects were completely clueless how to fix. Cao Xinye dragged herself out of bed. I'll be there soon. With the call ended, Qiao Xinye freshened up and changed her clothes. The moment she stepped out, she found a servant stationed right outside the door. Upon seeing her, the servant bowed. Miss, you're finally awake. Before the master left, he insisted you must eat something immediately. Where is he? Qiao Xinye asked, still feeling dazed. It still felt surreal that Qiao Rongchuan had found her. The master took a call and rushed out, instructing you to dine on your own. Qiao Rongchuan was always a whirlwind of business, back when they were in country FI and their father was still alive. She often wouldn't see him for an entire week. His current visit to Hong Kong likely wouldn't last very long, so his schedule was bound to be packed. The kitchen had prepared all of her absolute favorites. Qiao Xinye originally intended to skip the meal, but the second those nostalgic aromas wafted upstairs, her legs felt like jelly and she couldn't resist. It was the taste of her childhood home. She had to admit, during her 2-year stint in Hong Kong, she had never truly adjusted to the local palate, reunited with the flavors she truly craved. She polished off 4 bowls of rice and downed 2 bowls of soup in one sitting. The servant was absolutely floored by her appetite. Suddenly, the landline began to ring. The butler hurried over to answer the call. It was Qiao Rongchuan on the other end. When the butler was questioned about Qiao Xinye's status, he instinctively glanced toward the dining area. The miss has finally risen, and she is currently dining. Her appetite, well, it's remarkable she's already polished off 4 bowls of rice. Qiao Xinye had actually finished 4 entire bowls. Was she really eating that much? In the 3 years she spent in Hong Kong, she had never displayed such a voracious appetite. Whatever was said on the other end of the line remained a mystery, but the butler hung up the receiver and hurried straight into the dining room. Miss the Master says you must stop eating immediately. Xiao Xinye was just reaching for another piece of fish when she caught the butler's warning. Looking up at him with a look of pure confusion, the master is concerned that if you overindulge, your stomach will surely pay the price later. Realizing it was a direct order from Chao Rongchuan, Xiao Xinye obediently set down her utensils at once. As she stepped out of the gates of Tinglan Villa, Xiao Xinye happened to run straight into Zhang Yuan, who was busy prying for information about the manor's owner. Catching sight of Xiao Xinye, Zhang Yuan froze in total shock. Ms. Qiao, why on earth are you here, mine? Xiao Xinye arched an eyebrow, countering with her own question. And what brings you to this place? In Zhang Yuan's narrow mind, she had absolutely no business being there. But from Xiao Xinye's perspective, Zhang Yuan was the last person who should be showing his face here. Faced with Xiao Xinye's sharp retort, a flicker of guilt and evasion crossed Zhang Yuan's features. Just handling some business. Xiao Xinye pondered the business claim. Tinglan Villa was the only estate in all of Shallow Bay, and Qi Yan and Chao Rongchuan had zero history together. So what kind of business could Zhang Yuan possibly have? What kind of business exactly twas? Zhang Yuan expected Xiao Xinye to drop the subject, only for her to press him even harder. Zhang Yuan looked like he was choking on his own words. Seeing him act so shifty and suspicious, Xiao Xinye instantly read the situation. This wouldn't happen to be about Liang Yutong, would it? The moment those words left Xiao Xinye's lips, Zhang Yuan was left completely speechless, unable to respond. And it was precisely that hesitation, his blatant inability to offer a direct denial, only solidified the suspicion swirling in Xiao Xinye's mind. She didn't waste another breath on him. He let out a scoffing smirk before walking away without a word. Once Zhang Yuan saw Xiao Xinye depart, he turned his desperate focus back toward the security guard. The guard, having exploited the gap while Zhang Yuan and Xiao Xinye were talking, had already phoned his superiors for instructions. Leave. And this estate is currently not available for lease. Hearing such a blunt and final rejection, Zhang Yuan felt a jolt of panic hit his chest. Yet he still refused to concede defeat. Did you actually relay our offer for the rent? After all, given how dire Liang Yutong's condition had become, and how frantic Qi Yan was to find a solution, Zhang Yuan knew exactly what was at stake. If things went south, this could very well be Liang Yutong's final sunset. Qi Wan would undoubtedly pay any price imaginable, just to ensure that Liang Yutong spent her remaining days in absolute bliss. The moment the guard heard him mention money, a flicker of pure disdain flashed in his eyes. Mr. Jiang, but since our master owns this legendary manor, do you honestly think he's hurting for rent money? Say. Zhang Yuan hesitated before asking, could I just venture to ask, who exactly is the true owner behind this estate? Our gentleman's current situation is quite delicate, and we truly possess an urgent need to use this space, whether by lease or by favor. Zhang Yuan understood the reality behind the request. He knew exactly why Qi Yan was so fixated on this location. It wasn't that the Qi family lacked luxury properties, it was that the current Qi family elders all harbored a deep-seated loathing for Liang Yutong. If she were to take up residence in a Qi family manor, those elders would definitely intervene personally. If that happened, let alone providing a peaceful recovery for Liang Yutong, the entire situation would likely devolve into total chaos. Seeing Zhang Yuan prying into the identity of the master, the security guard's expression turned ice cold. Mr. Zhang Yuan sighed, a strictly forbidden question indeed. Over the past few years, countless people had tried to unmask the owner of Tinglan Villa, all desperate to purchase this crown jewel of a property. Yet, even now, not a single soul has managed to unmask the elusive figure pulling the strings behind the scenes. Their identity remains a total high-level mystery. Zhang Yuan brought the discouraging news back to Qi Yan. When Qi Yan heard the owner refused to rent or even grant an audience, and that their identity remained a total dead end, his expression soured instantly into a grim mask. Zhang Yuan's face was equally heavy with concern. After a moment of thought, he added, I ran into Miss Chao over there. At the mention of her name, Qi Yan's brow twitched with tension. Liang Jinzhao approached with a face flushed with fury, just as Zhang Yuan uttered those words. Where exactly did you cross paths with her? That damn Xiao Xinye? He had spent the entire morning banging on the door at Jinjiang City, only for his efforts to be met with absolute silence. Now hearing Zhang Yuan say she was out in the world, he realized she was actually living a life of leisure while wandering around outside. Seeing Liang Jinzhao's arrival, Zhang Yuan replied respectfully at Tinglan Villa in Shallow Bay. What on earth was she doing at a place like that? The second he heard Xiao Xinye was lingering near Tinglan Villa, Liang Jinzhao's mood took a sharp turn for the worse. Could she be planning to officially cut ties with the Liang family and seek a new lifeline in a place like that? That legendary estate, Is it possible? Is she trying to seduce the mysterious master of Tinglan Villa? Ha, what a delusional fantasy. Right now, in the entirety of Hong Kong, those willing to even look at her are likely far and few between, though the owner of Tinglan Villa remains a ghost. Possessing such a massive manor in the heart of Hong Kong proves their status is on a completely different level. For Chao Xinye to think she could charm him is a total pipe dream. That part is still unclear, Zhang Yuan admitted. At the time, Chao Xinye refused to waste even a single breath on me. Combined with the impenetrable secrecy at Tinglan Villa, there was no way to dig up her true objective there. How could anyone possibly know what she was scheming? Qi Yan's face was cast in deep shadows. Uncover the owner's identity immediately. Clearly, he was nowhere near giving up yet. Liang Yutong confessed she was terrified. But in reality, Qi Yan was gripped by fear as well. He was scared to death that Yutong wouldn't make it this time. Because of that, he was desperate to ensure that during what could be her final moments, he could grant her every single dying wish. Zhang Yuan saw that Qi Yan refused to back down. Nodding with a slight stressed throb in his head, understood? Inside the sterile ward, Liu Suyun had been a constant shadow at Liang Yutong's side, forced to witness Yutong repeatedly lose consciousness from the excruciating agony. Her heart was heavy with a bitter gnawing grief. Just as Qi Yan prepared to step toward her, his phone erupted with a piercing ring. It was Feng Man calling. Get back here this very instant. Feng Man's tone through the receiver was dangerously cold. Qi Yan glanced back at the hospital bed where Liang Yutong had finally drifted off to sleep. Giving a brief curt grunt of affirmation, he clicked the call shut, only to find Liu Suyun staring at him with a face full of sorrow. I heard that Professor Jing doesn't just specialize in cures. Yeah, but is a master at alleviating the patient's suffering as well. Yan Yutong was just tortured into a blackout by the pain. Liu Suyun's voice cracked with pure anguish. Hearing that Jing Yang was renowned for easing the torment of the terminally ill, Qi Yan felt that hunting him down could no longer be delayed. Yet despite his relentless pressure on the hospital director, and even personally calling Jing Yang himself, the result was a disaster. Recalling Jing Yang's sharp, mocking tone over the phone, how he remained completely unfazed, even when faced with lethal threats, Qi Yan felt a splitting, pulsing migraine behind his eyes. Yan, you have to do something, anything. Yutong is suffering more than anyone can bear. Liu Suyun cried out, her voice trembling. Qi Yan gave a heavy nod. I know. I'll find a way, no matter what. And another thing, with Yutong's body failing like this, the future between the two of you, Liu Suyun's voice trailed off, the words choking in her throat. She desperately wanted Liang Yutong and Qi Yan to have their happily ever after, but looking at the endless mountain of grim medical reports and lab results, and witnessing Yutong's being systematically ravaged by her condition, the brutal truth finally dawned on her. No matter what they did, the Qi family would never allow Liang Yutong through their doors. Worst case, they'd completely provoke the Qi family's wrath. At that point, even with Qi Yan's protection, the Liang family's future would be utterly ruined. After weighing the grim consequences, Liu Suyun took a deep, shaky breath. The situation between you and Xinye cannot be delayed any longer. That Dr. Jing Yang must return at any cost. Initially, she had hoped Qi Yan would spend every waking moment by Liang Yutong's bedside. But what use is Qi Yan's company now? He isn't a medical professional. Since the only doctor who matters is linked to Chao Xinye, securing Jing Yang's return has become the absolute priority. The moment his ties with Chao Xinye were mentioned, Qi Yan's expression darkened instantly. He didn't need to guess why his mother's phone call demanded his return, or what lecture was waiting for him. That damn Chao Xinye? That pathetic woman. How did she manage to get those family elders wrapped so tightly around her finger? An hour later, Qi Yan arrived at the Qi ancestral manor, the moment Feng Man saw him. Her face turned livid with pure rage. What exactly did you promise me yesterday, Sulse? You swore you wouldn't see Liang Yutong ever again. Every single word was spat out through Feng Man's gritted teeth. The mere thought of the cocktail of diseases ravaging Yutong made her blood boil with indignation. Who in their right mind gets struck by so many ailments at once? It would be one thing if she were elderly, but Liang Yutong is far too young to be this cursed. Qi Yan's face remained cast in shadow. Regarding the matter between me and Chao Xinye, all of you need to drop it immediately. What did you just say, Qi? Are you honestly still planning to choose that Liang Yutong? This has nothing to do with Yutong. Qi Yan snapped, cutting Feng Man off mid-sentence. Truth be told, before last night, it might have been because of Liang Yutong that any real progress with Chao Xinye had been completely stalled. But remembering the man who appeared at Jinjiang City, Qi Yan's expression grew even more dangerously grim. Then what is the reason? Feng Man didn't believe a word of it. This has absolutely nothing to do with Liang Yutong. Qi Yan repeated firmly, it truly isn't about Yutong. Yutong. Qi Yan, let me make this crystal clear. Even if things fall through with Qiao Xinye, don't even dream of being with Liang Yutong. Not unless we are all dead. By all, she meant the 6 powerful elders of the clan, each one a heavyweight titan of the family. Qi Yan's maternal grandparents, his paternal grandparents, and both Feng Man and his father. With the line drawn so ruthlessly in the sand, the future between Qi Yan and Liang Yutong seemed destined for a dead end. Qi Yan felt a throbbing migraine of pure frustration. There's no future for me and Yutong. But I'm not marrying Qiao Xinye either, Jet. Both of them stood their ground with iron-willed stubbornness. Feng Man's chest heaved with suppressed fury as she shot a lethal glare at Qi Yan. Fine, if you won't marry her, so be it. But you should be well aware of the real reason we even looked at the Liang family. Qi Yan knew the cold truth better than anyone. It was the rare mineral deposit the Liangs controlled. There are less than 5 such sites in the entire world. The Liang family was equally cognizant that without the Qi family's massive influence, they couldn't hope to defend that fortune from predators. The resources extracted from that specific mine happened to be the one thing the Qi family coveted most. If, and it's a big if, the Qi family could secure such a source elsewhere, they wouldn't give the Liangs the time of day. Furthermore, that mine is nearly excavated to its limit. There is precious little left to take. The Qi family is now desperate for a new replacement, which is why the Liang family, in Feng Man's calculating eyes, has become entirely expendable. Feng Man closed her eyes for a brief moment. Your uncle just received a critical update. The legend from Country F has arrived in Hong Kong. That person from Country F is just like the Liangs, holding the same mineral resources, but on a scale 10 times larger than the Liang family. Upon hearing this, Qi Yan's pupils constricted with shock. You mean that person? Feng Man nodded slowly. The sole heir to the prestigious Lu family empire. You must find a way to secure a connection with them, with that powerful alliance in place. The Qi family's interests won't be crippled when the Liang family's mines finally run dry. Meanwhile, Qiao Xinye had been buried in meetings at the studio all afternoon. The clock struck 6 p.m. when Qiao Rongchuan's call buzzed in. Get down here. I'm parked on the road outside the building. Parking isn't allowed there, right? Why didn't you head to the underground garage? It's all. Exactly. So hurry up and get down here. Got it. Hanging up the phone, Qiao Xinye haphazardly gathered a pile of belongings and stuffed them into her limited edition designer bag. Her assistant Yang Tingting watched this unfold with a heart full of agonizing physical pain. Boss, that's a super rare limited edition piece. Is it? Qiao Xinye blinked. Yang Tingting sighed. Did this young lady's basic life skills have some sort of serious glitch? When she purchased these luxury items, was she truly unaware of their astronomical price tags? Her studio's annual profit barely scratched the surface. Then she remembered how the boss bought a mountain of gifts for everyone with such overwhelming generosity. Even after the broken engagement with the Qi family, she was still a big spender. Yang Tingting began to seriously wonder exactly which family this little princess belonged to. The Liang family didn't seem to spoil her that much. If they did, wait, why would she be out here running a studio batot? I've delegated the task from the meeting. Make sure you keep a close eye on everything. Yang Tingting nodded quickly. You got it. Ink. After a few brief instructions, Qiao Xinye headed out. The moment she exited the skyscraper, Qiao Xinye spotted the incredibly flashy car idling nearby and hurried toward it. Her phone buzzed incessantly as she answered. She had been fielding calls from major clients all day, so assuming it was just another business lead, she casually picked up, "Hello. Where the hell are you?" Liang Jinchao's voice hissed through the line, thick with suppressed rage. Even through the digital airwaves, Qiao Xin Yi could practically feel the simmering rage through the receiver. Qiao Xinye snapped, "What do you want now?" Liang Jinzhao barked, "Call Jingyang this instant. Order him to get back here immediately." "How about I call your mother instead? Would that work?" That sharp, stinging retort caused the air in the call to turn deathly silent for a moment. Then an even more explosive roar erupted from Liang Jinzhao's end. "Qiao Xinye, you've become completely lawless and unhinged." Yes. "As for the heavens, I wouldn't know. But the law, did I break it? Lawless and unhinged, please." "Heh, Liang Jinzhao, my mother is your mother too. I dare you to say another damn word to me. You're just a pathetic bumpkin. A bottom dweller who'll be buried in the dirt, without ever realizing how deep your grave was." Liang Jinzhao screamed, "Qiao Xinye to..." "That bastard, tell him to curse and he actually does it." Liang Jinzhao was trembling with pure fury. "I said, where the hell are you right now?" The moment he tracked her down, he was going to beat this little brat to death. Ever since she returned home, she'd been nothing but a headache. And now she was crossing every single line. "Look at the situation. Stop fooling around." Qiao Xinye sneered, "If you're so capable, is so. Then track me down yourself." Before slamming the phone shut on the peasant, Qiao Xinye made sure to hurl one last insult. On the other end, Liang Jinzhao listened to the hollow dial tone and felt like his blood was about to boil over. Failing to find her at Jinjiang City earlier had already left him fuming with suppressed rage. Then he returned to the hospital to call her, only to find his number had been blacklisted. He finally managed to get through on another line. But instead of a conversation, he ended up getting absolutely shredded by her insults. He was itching to hunt her down right now and rip her head off with his bare hands. Liu Suyun was standing right beside him. Every venomous word Chao Xinye spat at Liang Jinzhao had reached her ears loud and clear. She let out a heavy, defeated sigh. Does she really despise us that much? What exactly do we owe her? Liang Jinzhao roared, owe her, we owe her nothing. Giving her life was already more than she deserved. After his outburst, he immediately dialed a number, ordering his men that no matter the cost, they must track down Chao Xinye's current location. At this moment, Liang Jinzhao was possessed by a single thought, to find the insufferably arrogant Chao Xinye. However haughty she acted over the phone, he was going to make her crawl and beg for mercy. Liu Suyun let out a weary long sigh, casting a somber glance toward the hospital ward. Enough. Don't you have old Master Pei's birthday banquet tonight? Hurry up and get going. Initamo, inenti. Don't waste any more time here. But what about Chao Xinye? Liang Jinzhao was still uneasy about leaving Yutong. Liu Suyun replied, once they locate her, I'll be the one to deal with her. She had finally realized that trying to intimidate or threaten Chao Xinye was a complete and utter dead end. It was time to switch tactics and play nice, regardless of the method. Bringing Jingyang back was the only thing that mattered. As Chao Xinye stepped into the car, she realized there was an extra passenger in the front seat. It was Yan Li, the legendary Yan Li. He was a world-renowned heart specialist from Country F, famous for having a flawless zero-failure surgical record. In the medical world, they called him the Ghost Hand Sage. From the front, Yan Li turned to look at Chao Xinye, a mischievous, teasing grin playing on his lips. You little brat, you sure know how to stay hidden. Your brother has been scouring the earth for years. If we hadn't found you soon, I suspect he would have broken into the underworld to see if you were hiding among the ghosts. Hearing about Chao Rongchuan's relentless search, Chao Xinye felt a sharp pang of guilt. Very cautiously, she stole a glance at the stern, cold man beside her. Without a word, Chao Rongchuan snatched her phone away. Chao Xinye's heart hammered against her ribs. What are you doing? Chao Rongchuan silenced her with a look. Chao Xinye froze as she watched him systematically scroll through her entire contact list, her private messages, and every single one of her social media apps. It was clear she was being audited. Chao Xinye hesitated for a beat before snatching the phone back. What are you even doing? I've been out of school for years now. You used to say no dating while I was a student, but I'm long past those days. Chao Rongchuan looked at her and let out a low chuckle, suddenly grabbing the back of her head and pulling her firmly onto his lap. Chao Xinye stiffened. Wait, stop. Brother Yan Li is still right here. The words had barely left her lips before the privacy partition slid up, sealing them off. Chao Xinye still felt incredibly awkward, squirming within Chao Rongchuan's embrace as she tried to scramble off his lap. She offered a quick reminder, brother, I'm truly an adult now. Chao Rongchuan smirked darkly. Is that so Xingxing finally wants to fall in love? Chao Xinye's mouth twitched at the suggestion. What love are you talking about? The thought hadn't even crossed her mind. When Chao Xinye remained silent, Chao Rongchuan pressed on, or perhaps you actually took that engagement with him seriously. The wedding is just days away, isn't it, huh? If I hadn't shown up today, Alting, would you really have walked down the aisle with him? Within those specific words, Chao Xinye could distinctly sense a chilling trace of lethal danger in Chao Rongchuan's voice. No, not at all, mate. Chao Rongchuan wasn't buying it. Lu Lin had already investigated everything thoroughly, and the files stated that from beginning to end, Chao Xinye hadn't shown a single shred of resistance. In this moment, wrapped in the man's oppressive, dangerous aura, Chao Xinye blurted out, he would never marry me. That was the cold hard truth. The reason she never aggressively fought the engagement was simply because she knew Qian would never go through with it. Liang Yutong in particular would never let that happen. Plus, she hadn't known the Sheng family was completely wiped out. Fearing those snakes were still lurking in the shadows watching her, she worried that if she rebelled openly, it might bring unwanted danger to Chao Rongchuan. You seem so certain, he mused. Well, you saw it for yourself. He's already tossed me aside for another woman. Chao Rongchuan repeated, because of another woman, causing the temperature inside the car to plummet once more. Even though Chao Xinye's history with Qian had already sparked Chao Rongchuan's intense disapproval, the fact that Qian abandoned her for another woman made his blood boil even more fiercely. The precious treasure he had raised in the palm of his hand had been forced to endure such humiliation from another man. A deep, impenetrable shadow flickered in Chao Rongchuan's eyes. No one could truly fathom the sheer level of lethal danger lurking behind that cold, calculating gaze. As the car finally came to a halt, Qiao Xinye realized with a start that Chao Rongchuan had brought her to a grand banquet. She recognized this prestigious estate immediately, the home of the highly esteemed Pei family in Hong Kong. The Liang family had attended Old Master Pei's banquets for years. If her memory served her correctly, she heard that this year marked his 80-year birthday milestone. Taking in the sheer scale of the celebration, it was far more opulent and extravagant than ever before. Luxury cars lined the entrance, and the dazzling lights turned the night into day. Lu Lin respectfully held the car door open. "Sir, Pei Xiao is currently awaiting your arrival." Qiao Rongchuan nodded curtly, before glancing toward Qiao Xinye. "Are you hungry?" Qiao Xinye checked the time on her phone screen. A little bit. She was always very disciplined with her meal times, and it was definitely time to eat. Qiao Rongchuan said, "Then go grab a bite at the banquet. I'll be tied up with Pei Xiao for about half an hour." Qiao Xinye realized he was here purely for business. She had assumed they were just attending a birthday party. She watched the stream of guests entering the venue. The men were in sharp tailored suits, and the women were draped in exquisite evening gowns. Qiao Xinye looked down at her own reflection, noting her loose casual blazer and the simple white sneakers she'd thrown on today. Am I really supposed to go in looking like the... Qiao Rongchuan countered, "Is there a problem?" Qiao Xinye stammered, "Isn't there a problem?" Lu Lin chimed in, "There is no issue at all." Qiao Xinye fell silent. Qiao Rongchuan glanced at Yanli, who was busy gaming in the passenger seat. "You accompany her." Yanli was currently in the heat of a gaming battle, casting a quick glance back at Qiao Xinye. "Starving." Qiao Xinye gave a faint nod. "The Pei family chefs are actually legendary." Yanli was floored by this. She had tasted every delicacy imaginable back in Country F, yet she still found the Pei family's cooking impressive. Qiao Rongchuan shot Yanli a sharp warning look. Yanli instantly pocketed his phone. All right. Your sister is my sister too. I won't let her go hungry on my watch. Now hurry up and take care of your business." Truly a pampered little princess. It was one thing to worry about her being fed as a child, but she's a full-grown adult now, and he still treats her like she has zero survival skills. Qiao Rongchuan's expression turned ice cold. "Since when was she your sister?" "Eat." Yanli's mouth twitched. Fine. I just won't let your sister starve." Sassing this living Yama to his face was basically digging one's own grave. As Qiao Rongchuan departed, Yanli turned his attention to Qiao Xinye. Sing. Your big brother is taking you to the buffet." Qiao Rongchuan hadn't even walked far yet, and that big brother comment made his back stiffen with frost. Even from a distance, Yanli felt the sudden chill. He didn't dare utter another syllable of nonsense. And so dressed in her casual everyday clothes, Qiao Xinye accompanied Yanli and stepped into the high society banquet looking completely out of place. Yanli led her straight to the dessert station. "You start eating here for a bit. My gaming round isn't finished yet." With a dessert spread this massive, it should surely be enough to keep her occupied. Yanli found a nearby seat to park himself. Qiao Xinye was genuinely famished. She had just grabbed a small cake when Tangsu's voice rang out beside her. "Yezi, she." Qiao Xinye looked up and locked eyes with Tangsu. Tangsu scanned her immediate surroundings. "Who did you come with? And why are you dressed like this?" Tangsu was stunning tonight in a plunging black V-neck gown. Her dress was encrusted with shimmering sequins that sparkled brilliantly under the chandelier lights. In stark contrast to Qiao Xinye's casual fit, Tangsu whispered, "Did Qi Yin bring you here?" Tangsu assumed this must be Qi Yin's calculated attempt to debunk the swirling rumors about their broken engagement. It was a no-brainer. The Qi family must be going absolutely ballistic right now, ready to tear Liang Yutong to shreds. Qiao Xinye swallowed the bite of pettit cake. She barely got out a no before a shrill mocking voice cut her off. Well, look who we have here. Already dumped by young Master Qi, yet she still has the gall to crash an event like this. Qiao Xinye and Tangsu turned in unison to find Pei Shan strutting toward them. Flanking her were two unfamiliar faces, likely her latest lackeys. The moment she saw Pei Shan, Tangsu's expression soured completely. Pei Shan was Liang Yutong's bestie and harbored a massive crush on Liang Jinzhao during the 2 years Yutong was away. She constantly picked fights with Qiao Xinye, though Qiao Xinye always ended up owning her. Pei Shan stopped dead in front of Qiao Xinye. "How did you get in? Do you even have an invitation?" Tangsu immediately pulled Qiao Xinye behind her. "An invitation? Since when did you start calling the shots at the Pei house?" Pei Shan scoffed, "I might not call the shots, but I know for a fact she wasn't invited today." She and her mother had personally handled the guest list. She had sent an invite to the Liang family, deliberately including everyone down to Liang Yutong. while pointedly leaving Chao Xinye's name off. Sneaking into freeload without an invite? Chao Xinye, where do you get the audacity? And what the hell are you even wearing? Now that the Qi family dumped you, you can't even afford a decent dress, can you? Her voice was dripping with pure unadulterated disdain. Currently, the dessert lounge was packed with young socialites. Seeing Pei Shan humiliate Chao Xinye, they all leaned in, eager for the impending drama. Tang Su was fuming. What she wears is none of your damn business. Maybe worry about your own tacky outfit first. Glancing at Pei Shan's plunging neckline and her gown that looked painfully tight, Tang Su didn't hold back her contempt. Tang Su, why the hell are you meddling in this? Pei Shan snapped. This is my home and my grandfather's birthday banquet. If you want to take Chao Xinye's side, then both of you can get lost, messieurs. Chao Xinye calmly set down her appetizer plate and locked eyes with Pei Shan. Are you absolutely sure about that? What's with that tone, Suels? Are you actually threatening me? The Pei family would never invite a vicious woman like you into our home. Pei Shan had heard everything from Liang Jinzhao, how Chao Xinye had forced Jingyang to flee abroad, just to deny Yutong her life-saving treatment. Seeing such a repulsive woman made her skin crawl. Chao Xinye gave a playful knowing nod. True, I definitely wasn't on your guest list. So, how do you think I managed to get in Tiaut? The moment those words left her lips, the surrounding socialites exchanged confused glances. It was true entry to the Pei banquet today. Strictly required an official invitation. Even if one didn't possess a physical invite, they'd have to be a high-ranking VIP to pass. So, how did Chao Xinye, an uninvited guest, and a disgraced heiress loathed by the Liangs, manage to bypass security? Pei Shan let out a sharp, mocking scoff. Tang Su must have snuck you in, obviously. I don't care who brought you here. Get out of my sight this instant. What's all this commotion about? Liang Jinzhao's authoritative voice boomed from the edge of the crowd. Every eye that was glued to Chao Xinye instantly shifted toward Liang Jinzhao. Walking beside him was none other than Qi Yan. The two of them appeared together, radiating an aura of cold elite prestige that instantly captivated every debutante in the room. The moment Pei Shan spotted Liang Jinzhao, she hurried over to his side. Jinzhao, why is she even here? Knowing exactly how the Liangs felt about Chao Xinye, Pei Shan didn't even bother to hide her blatant hostility in front of him. Liang Jinzhao shifted his gaze toward Chao Xinye. When his eyes landed on her outfit, realizing she was merely wearing basic office attire, his face darkened with instant disapproval. Qian also spotted Chao Xinye standing there, but after a single cold glance, he turned away, refusing to spare her another second of his attention. Clearly, the memory of the man at Jinjiang City was still fueling his inner rage. Liang Jinzhao marched up to Chao Xinye's side and hissed in a low voice, "How did you get in? And why the hell are you dressed like this?" Chao Xinye countered, "Is there a problem with my clothes?" Liang Jinzhao sneered, "What do you think? Just Is there a problem? You're a walking disaster." At this very moment, Liang Jinzhao was convinced that Chao Xinye had been utterly corrupted by her original family. She was acting out without any regard for the occasion, making an absolute spectacle of herself. Chao Xinye, even if you're desperate to find Qiyan, you shouldn't have resorted to a stunt like this. The Pei family didn't send you an invitation this time. In truth, the decision to exclude Chao Xinye had been orchestrated by Liang Jinzhao himself. Exhausted by the drama surrounding Liang Yutong, he didn't want Chao Xinye showing her face at such high-profile social gatherings. The accusation of seeking Qiyan caused Chao Xinye to burst into a mocking laugh. "Why on earth would I be looking for him? If you aren't here for Qiyan, then why did you even show up? Do you have any idea who Qiyan is? He won't just let you keep throwing these tantrums." Now you're finally starting to panic, aren't you? Qiyan had already made his stance clear at the hospital. He had no intention of marrying Chao Xinye. In Liang Jinzhao's narrow mind, this was simply because Chao Xinye had pushed too far. Who exactly do you think Qiyan is? What? He might have tolerated a bit of minor petulance, but her recent antics had crossed every line. From publicly announcing a broken engagement, to forcing Jingyang to flee the country. After everything that has transpired, it would be a miracle if Qi-yun could still tolerate her. Let me tell you something. Whatever was left between you and Qi-yun is dead, and you have nobody to blame but yourself. You should just give up once and for all. Even if we tried to put in a good word for you now, it would be useless. Chao Xinye arched an eyebrow. Those are quite the bold words, Alex. As if you people would ever actually speak well of me. Her sarcasm was razor sharp. She truly couldn't tell if these people were blind deaf or just trapped in a state of constant self-delusion. The scandal of her breaking off the engagement had already become the talk of the entire city. Yet these fools still harbored the absurd belief that she had come here specifically to chase after Qi-yun. Witnessing her defiant attitude, Liang Jinzhao's fury intensified. Enough, aunt! I want you to get out of here this instant. Dressed like that, you're an utter embarrassment. Qian stepped forward as well, his gaze cold and stern as he locked eyes with her, especially when he looked at her choice of clothing. He couldn't hide the flicker of pure loathing in his eyes. Leave, since our wedding has been called off. Consider your wish granted. Xiao Xinye, if I Qian ever entertain the thought of marrying you again, I'll call myself a dog. Hearing Qian's scathing declaration, Pei Shan clicked her high heels forward. Did you hear that clearly? Young Master Qi is officially done with you. Your dream of being the top socialite and the Qi family's young mistress is dead. Xiao Xinye turned her gaze toward Pei Shan. Good. That's exactly what I wanted. The title of Hong Kong's wealthiest young mistress. Did they really think that was a dream to her? Even if it were a dream, to her it would be nothing but a cursed nightmare. Hearing her retort, Pei Shan's laughter became even more mocking. Keep acting tough with that stubborn mouth of yours. Without the Qi family and with your status in the Liang family ruined, you'll be out on the street soon enough. When you're begging for scraps in a few months, let's see how much of that pride you have left. Tangsu was reaching her breaking point. Who exactly are you calling a beggar? So what if she doesn't have the Qis or the Liangs and Daisis? Do you think I'm just standing here for decoration? Seeing Tangsu fiercely shielding Xiao Xinye like that, Pei Shan sneered with pure vitriol. How much longer can you really shield her? By the way, you're always playing her knight in shining armor. Tangsu, don't tell me you actually have a thing for her. I mean, these days, men with men, or women with women isn't exactly groundbreaking news. But seriously, Guot, even if you're planning to hit rock bottom, yes so, did you really have to settle for trash like this? Tangsu Yu, a sharp, stinging slap suddenly erupted across Pei Shan's face, instantly choking back whatever words Tangsu was about to say. It was Xiao Xinye. She originally had no intention of entertaining Pei Shan, finding the woman to be nothing but a brainless airhead. But hearing her humiliate Tangsu so blatantly, Xiao Xinye reached her absolute breaking point. With that single thunderous strike, the entire venue plunged into a deafening silence. Every spectator stared at Xiao Xinye in utter disbelief, stunned that she actually had the audacity to lay hands on Pei Shan. Pei Shan clutched her burning cheek eyes wide with shock. Are you insane? You actually dared to hit me. I hit you because you deserved it. So, don't talk to me about what I dare to do. Xiao Xinye's tone was dripping with lethal disdain. With a filthy mouth like yours, I sighed. Having it ripped apart 10 times over wouldn't be enough. Liang Jinzhao finally snapped out of his trance, realizing Xiao Xinye had committed assault in such a high-class setting. His rage exploded beyond control. He lunged forward and violently shoved Xiao Xinye aside. Have you completely lost your mind, Suo? Do you think this is some playground for your tantrums, Yo Iki? Xiao Xinye glanced down at her chipped fingernail. She hadn't properly controlled her strength earlier, and the manicure she'd just gotten was now ruined. She was already in a foul mood, but now she was officially seeing red. Whether it's the right time for a tantrum or not. It's certainly not my first time causing a scene. Liang Jinzhao, witnessing Xiao Xinye's arrogant and overbearing stance, was so incensed that he hoisted his hand high, rearing back for a full-force blow to Xiao Xinye's face. This rebellious daughter desperately needed a beating. Thinking back on her recent streak of defiance, Liang Jinzhao wanted to slap her into next week, hoping the pain would finally teach her a lesson she wouldn't forget. However, just as he channeled every ounce of his strength to deliver a brutal blow to Xiao Xinye's face, with his palm mere inches away from her skin, his wrist was suddenly snared in a vice-like grip. Simultaneously, Xiao Xinye's knee drove ruthlessly into his crotch. Liang Jinzhao let out a strangled, agonizing groan, his face contorting into a mask of pure torment. Xiao Xinye Yu, Yanli, who had seized Liang Jinzhao's wrist, had originally intended to deliver a flurry of punches to this pathetic excuse for a man who hits women. But instead, Liang Jinzhao was already curled on the floor, twitching in agony. The corner of Yan Li's mouth twitched. What is this? Oh, is he faking it? I haven't even laid a finger on him yet. But this didn't look like an act at all. Not with the way Liang Jinzhao's complexion was turning a sickly, ghostly shade of white. Tangsu turned her shocked gaze toward Xiao Xinye. Xiao Xinye calmly retracted her knee. At that exact moment, Yanli witnessed Xiao Xinye's perfectly composed stoic expression as she stood down. His lips twitched once more in disbelief. He had genuinely thought that if he hadn't intervened, she would have been severely injured. But looking at her lethal stance, it seemed she never needed his protection in the first place. Jinzhao, Jinzhao. Pei Shan threw herself toward the fallen man. Seeing Liang Jinzhao paralyzed by such extreme pain, she shrieked, "What the hell did you do to him?" Ambulance, someone call an ambulance now. Liang Jinzhao felt as though his very soul had been crushed. He couldn't believe a girl like Xiao Xinye would ruthlessly target a man's most vulnerable spot. How utterly shameless Qian witnessing Liang Jinzhao suffer such a humiliating defeat at her hands, marched toward her in a towering rage. Just how much more drama are you going to cause, Yas? Let me be clear. Even if you flip all of Hong Kong upside down, there is no universe where I would ever marry you. Qiao Xinye, Yanli, Qiyan's arrogant display, insisting he wouldn't sacrifice himself for anyone, made Yanli glance curiously at Qiao Xinye. And because of Qiyan's haughty declaration, everyone present began to look at Qiao Xinye with even more blatant disdain. Some busybodies began gossiping on the spot. Socialite A whispered, "Wait, didn't she?" Personally announced she was dumping young Master Qi. "Looks like she's regretting it big time now." Socialite B scoffed, "So what if she regrets it?" Young Master Qi has made it perfectly clear that he wouldn't marry her if she were the last girl on earth. Socialite C added, honestly, as a woman, you have to at least pretend to be virtuous sometimes. Just look at her acting like a total psycho. No wonder the Langs and Qiyan can't stand her. With her behaving like this, who could actually ever love someone like that? Well, just as Qiyan was about to lash out again, his phone vibrated abruptly. It was a photo from Liu Suyun showing Liang Yutong, looking frail and broken in her hospital bed. She was awake, curled up in agony, her hair completely drenched in a cold sweat. Seeing Liang Yutong in such a pitiful state, Qiyan felt a sharp agonizing pang in his heart. His explosive rage toward Qiao Xinye instantly deflated at the sight of that photo. He turned his gaze back to Qiao Xinye and roughly seized her by the wrist. "Can you just stop this nonsense for once?" Qiao Xinye's brow furrowed in irritation. "Let go of me." In that moment, a flicker of pure loathing crossed her eyes. Though it was subtle, Qian caught it with jarring clarity. She actually despised him. Was it because of Yutong, or was it because of that secret man she was hiding? Thinking of this, Qian was hit with a sudden haunting realization. Qiao Xinye might truly not want to marry him. The weight of those words, "does not want," made Qian feel a sudden suffocating pressure. He tightened his iron grip on Qiao Xinye's wrist. "You're coming with me." "I'll say it one last time," Qiao Xinye hissed. "Release me." Qian turned back, and the moment their eyes locked, all he saw in her gaze was a vast frozen wasteland. Her eyes were terrifyingly cold, devoid of even a single spark of warmth. "Qiao Xinye, do you want to end up in the hospital like Liang Jinzhao?" Qian growled. Just then, Yan Li snapped back to reality. Yan Li lunged forward, snatching Qian's wrist in a death grip. "Mr. Qi, I suggest you release Xinye immediately." "And who the hell are you supposed to be?" Qian growled through gritted teeth. He'd already spotted one secret lover at Jinjiang City last night, and now another one was crawling out of the woodwork. But when he finally got a clear look at Yan Li's face, Qian's pupils involuntarily constricted. Yan Li, what on earth was a man like him doing here? This was the legendary medical prodigy of country FEO, specifically a titan in the field of cardiac surgery, with a flawless record that had never seen a single failure. Countless billionaires had practically begged for his services, but to no avail. 2 years ago, for reasons unknown to the public, Yan Li had abruptly walked away from his surgical career, which meant vertical bar. He currently refused to take on any patients regardless of price. Yet his unparalleled medical prowess was still the stuff of legend in elite circles. "Who I am is irrelevant," Yan Li stated coldly. "But if you continue to lay your filthy hands on her, I guarantee young Master Qi won't leave here alive tonight." Yan Li narrowed his eyes slightly, and in that moment his usually gentle gaze radiated a level of lethal intent he had never shown before. Even Qiao Xinye, seeing Yan Li in such a state, couldn't help but feel a chill run down her spine. That promise of a death sentence sent an unprecedented wave of dread washing over Qian. Slowly, and with great hesitation, he loosened his grip on Qiao Xinye's wrist. The second she was free, Yan Li pulled Qiao Xinye firmly behind his back. He whispered to her, "Are you all right?" "I'm fine." Qiao Xinye massaged her throbbing, reddened wrist. Yan Li roughly shoved Qian's hand away, his eyes softening with pure adoration as he looked at Qiao Xinye. "Are you full yet, moi?" Qiao Xinye had only managed a single bite. But after dealing with this toxic crowd, she had completely lost her appetite. She simply nodded. If you're done eating, let's get out of here. The air in this place is absolutely filthy," Yan Li remarked without a shred of politeness. With that, he began to lead Qiao Xinye out of the hall. The entire room stood in a state of absolute shock, but none were more shaken than Qian. Witnessing the way Yan Li treated Qiao Xinye, Qian was floored. How could Yan Li behave like that toward her? What exactly was the connection between Qiao Xinye and that man? Then there was the man at Jinjiang City last night, the one accompanied by high-level security guards, who clearly possessed an extraordinary status of his own. Could it be that since leaving him, she had been busy securing all these powerful connections? If that were the case, he had to admit she was surprisingly calculating. Every safety net she found was more formidable than the last. Meanwhile, Liang Jinzhao remained sprawled on the floor, unable to recover even after several long minutes. Cao Xinye's strike had been absolutely merciless. As Chao Rongchuan, Pei Xiao, and Pei Jingyao descended from upstairs, they were greeted by the sight of the dessert area, descending into utter chaotic turmoil. Since his family was hosting the banquet tonight, Pei Jingyao had personally overseen every single detail of the event's design. While he was deep in discussion with Chao Rongchuan, his assistant rushed in to report the disturbance, stating that his sister was clashing with the Liang family's daughter. For some reason, Chao Rongchuan's expression soured instantly. Upon hearing the assistant's briefing, he stood up immediately, ready to storm out. Their business was far from finished, leaving Pei Jingyao to wonder, did he think the scandal reflected poorly on the Pei family's values? As that thought crossed his mind, Pei Jingyao felt a surge of irritation toward the situation. Chao Rongchuan's eyes narrowed as he scanned the scene, searching in vain for Yan Li and Chao Xinye. Pei Jingyao sighed. Lord Chao, it's nothing major. My sister has always been headstrong and immature. It's just childish drama. Let's return to the study and finish the contract. Pei Xiao, if you can't even keep the children in your own house in check, then I'll have to seriously reconsider this entire partnership. Pei Jingyao was stunned. Wait, what? Shouldn't we keep business and personal matters separate? What did his failure to control an unruly sibling have to do with their multi-million-dollar collaboration? Before Pei Jingyao could wrap his head around it, Chao Rongchuan was already striding downstairs with predatory focus. Pei Jingyao stood there completely dazed. The ambulance arrived shortly after. As they prepared to haul Liang Jinzhao away, Pei Shan moved to follow them out. Pei Jingyao grabbed her firmly by the arm. And just where do you think you're going? Jinzhao was brutally attacked by that bitch Chao Xinye. I have to go and check on him. As Liang Jinzhao's publicly recognized girlfriend, she felt it was only natural to follow him. Pei Jingyao had reached his limit with this sister of his. He held nothing but absolute contempt for the Liang family. That Liang Yutong was obviously a fake and a pretender, and he couldn't fathom how his sister and the rest could be so blind to her manipulation. Seeing Liang Jinzhao beaten into such a pathetic state, he didn't even need to ask to know what happened. His biological sister Chao Xinye must have snapped and laid him out once again. Seeing Pei Shan trying to follow his fury boiled over. Go, you're going nowhere. Now get lost and crawl back to your own room. You've already humiliated this family enough, Xiao. Pei Shan shrieked, humiliated, let go of me right now. Uncle Chen, the young master bellowed. Drag her back to her room and lock the door. Realizing Pei Jingyao wasn't bluffing, Pei Shan panicked. What are you doing? Pei Jingyao glared at her. I'll deal with you later. With that, he strode out desperate to salvage the night. Chao Rongchuan had finally graced Hong Kong with his presence, and actually agreed to a meeting with him, only for that brainless Pei Shan to ruin everything. Pei Shan refused to retreat upstairs. She was hell-bent on finding Liang Jinzhao. Release me, all of you. I have to get to the hospital. The entire lobby had descended into complete chaos, and Butler Chen ordered the guards to forcibly drag Pei Shan to her room. Inside the sleek interior of the car, Chao Rongchuan's expression was terrifyingly grim. Chao Xinye didn't even dare to breathe too loudly, sitting beside him as obediently as possible. Chao Rongchuan looked down at her with a dangerous glint. Did those people dare to bully you? No, not really. Chao Xinye stammered, shaking her head. From the front seat, Yan Li quickly chimed in. I can testify to that. She definitely wasn't the one being bullied. After that stunt, she pulled back there. Who would even dare lay a finger on her? The poor bastard she bullied is currently in the ER. Despite the news, Chao Rongchuan's face remained dark. Vibrate, vibrate, vibrate. The phones of both individuals vibrated simultaneously. Chao Xinye saw an incoming call from Tang Su, while Chao Rongchuan's screen flashed with Pei Jingyao's name. Chao Xinye answered immediately. Susu. Yezi, are you all right? Tang Su whispered frantically. In reality, she was dying to know how she ended up leaving with Yan Li. The world-renowned cardiac genius was leagues more famous than even Jing Yang. How did she even know such a high-level big shot? Chao Xinye replied, I'm fine. I'll take you out for hot pot tomorrow. She hung up the call before another word could be said. Chao Rongchuan, however, ignored his phone entirely. Hearing Chao Xinye not only answer her call, but even make plans for a hot pot date, his expression grew even more ominous. Pei Jingyao's call rang through once again. Without a word, Chao Rongchuan disconnected it, and promptly added the man to his blacklist. I'm telling you, I wasn't bullied. Can you please stop scowling like that? Chao Xinye pouted slightly. Chao Rongchuan pressed, Are you sure? Absolutely sure, Chao Xinye stated firmly. Chao Rongchuan let out a cold snort. Is this how you've been living these past few years? Chao Xinye felt that question hit her right where it hurt. He was right. This was exactly how her life had been for years. People say you have to swallow your pride if you want others to actually like you. Perhaps it's because she refused to be a doormat that so many people despise her so much.